the most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic real-world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $100,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome in to the virtual Paperclip Martinsville Speedway for tonight's 14th round of the OP Racing Throwback Series, live tonight on the Turn 3 Racing Network. My name is Dawson Wise. I'll be taking you through all the action. Qualifying's on the racetrack. I wanted to get in here a little bit early. I missed the last 2 weeks. Apologies for that, as my schedule has gotten really hectic. But nonetheless, I'm back tonight. We got 3 races left after tonight's race, and a good one, but we got to get some stuff recapped for you here off the top of the show. Real quickly, before we get into tonight's pre-race, the last 2 winners. 2 weeks ago at Kansas, Chris Weaver captured his first win in the OP Racing Throwback Series. Huge congratulations to Chris. He is on track again tonight, looking for his second win, so a huge win for him at Kansas. And then last week in Charlotte, it was one of the men in the points battle. They got to victory lane. It had been a little bit since we'd seen one of our points contenders get to victory lane. But last week it happened. It was the 12 of Christian Strader, who is actually, ironically enough, joining me in the booth tonight. Not able to make tonight's race, but happy to have him up here with me. Christian, I'll bring you in really quickly here as we get into our pre-race. First off, how are you? Second off, I know it's got to kind of sting a little bit to have to watch from this side of things.
Yeah, I'm doing really good, man. I'm actually thrilled to be up here, though. It's always been pretty neat, and I always love listening and listening back to you. But it definitely hurts a little bit to not be racing tonight. The points are pretty tight, and just not able to get it done. So it's a little tough to be watching.
Well, we're in for a good one nonetheless. Our second trip to the Paperclip in this series. The first trip, and it's drawing a blank in my head. It was a pretty good race, if I remember correctly. I cannot remember off the top of my head who went to victory lane in that one, but it was a chaotic race, a caution-filled race, a little bit smaller field tonight, only 16 cars on the racetrack, so perhaps a bit cleaner affair is on the horizon. Stoney Benfield was fastest in practice tonight in the 75. Matt Hayden so far fastest in qualifying, and again, I know that probably stings for you to see, Christian. Matt Hayden, one of our points battle contenders. We'll look at the standings real quick as well as we get into it tonight, because those have changed quite a bit over the past couple weeks we've not been here. So we'll double check those right here as we get going. Well, they have not been updated as of last week, so I'll have to look at those. We'll get those a little bit later. As of 2 weeks ago's race, so 2 weeks ago at Kansas, Hunter Carlson had opened up a 32-point lead on Matt Hayden and the remainder of the field. We'll have to go back again later in the race, see if that has changed at all, but still a good points battle, still a tight one with 3 races to go and some interesting tracks coming up as well. I know Phoenix on the horizon still, Homestead on the horizon still as well, so some interesting tracks coming up tonight. It's the Paperclip in Martinsville, and a ton of storylines to go through again since we haven't been here. Matt Hayden continuing to try to chase down a championship. The longest tenured guy left in the points battle is the 6 of Matt Hayden. Tonight, a win could vault him back into contention, especially looking at our qualifying order tonight. Hunter Carlson has run his lap. He is 12th quick. Matt Hayden, this is a serious opportunity for him. A 19.61, the fastest lap on the track tonight. But a couple other storylines as well, and one of them, Stoney Benfield. Again, fast at the short tracks. Can he get the job done tonight here at Martinsville? Trey Galgan, he's been so good in this series. Can he get back to victory lane? He's had a few weeks since his last win. Chris Weaver won 2 weeks ago. He'll start 4th as of right now. So many storylines. This is such a fun series, and I'm glad to be back. 90 seconds until we're on the grid. I do want to give you a couple more scheduling updates. Again, my schedule incredibly hectic. And just to be completely candid, finishing up my last semester of college as a full-time student. So unfortunately, it kind of makes things a little bit hectic. And unfortunately, I will have to miss again the next 2 weeks as I just try to finish up the semester. So unfortunate there. But I will be back for the championship race at Homestead, where it seems like we may have a points battle brewing. It may turn into the 2004 championship race, if you'll remember back to that race where it came down to the final day of the season. So we'll have to wait and see on that one. But as we get ready to go tonight, Matt Hayden is going to be on the pole, and it's going to be a huge opportunity. Christian, you've driven these cars more than I have. You've driven at the short tracks more than I have. We're about to get on track for the first time. You know, how do you guys as drivers attack a track like Martinsville? Such a grueling track, a chaotic track. How do you guys approach it?
I personally like to take it easy the first few laps. It's a tough racetrack. It's heavy braking. There's a lot of door banging, a lot of trying to learn what everybody else is going to do, how their braking zones are going to go. And I think that the best way to kind of approach the track is take it easy early. Find yourself a rhythm. It's so key to get around here. You want to get into a rhythm. You want to find where your braking points are and make sure you hit your marks each and every corner. And I think that you'll probably see a couple guys get a little aggressive early, trying to make up some spots early. But I think that's kind of how you end up running yourself into a little bit of trouble, trying to get a little too much, a little too quick. And I think it might end up paying off for a guy like either Matt or even a Rusty Modesty. Those guys are really patient and really let the car and track kind of come to them.
250 laps on tap tonight, like you said, kind of letting things come to us. I remember last time we ran this track, that's how it felt. It kind of took a while to get settled in, but once everybody did, it was quite a race because Martinsville is such a tough track, such a tough one to handle. We'll get into the starting grid here before we go into the green flag for the first time. 250 laps are on tap tonight. And on the pole is the man who probably needs the win most out of anybody in this field, and that is the 6 of Matt Hayden. In the points battle, he needs to get a victory. He needs to separate himself from the guys behind him and get just a little bit of that ground back on Hunter Carlson, our points leader. And he's going to start deep in the field tonight. So Matt Hayden on the pole, big opportunity for the driver of the 6. It's Stoney Benfield, the faster pastor on the outside of row number 1, was very fast in practice. We'll see if he can get to victory lane for his first win in this series. Row 2, Trey Galgan's fast everywhere we go. He's a 10th off the leader, so he'll start 3rd, and Chris Weaver, our Kansas winner, will start from 4th. Rusty Modesty searching for his first trip to victory lane. He'll start 5th. Jimmy Fitzmaurice as well. He'll start from 6th. Row 4 to be Brent Elmore in the 31 and Gary Falco in the 77. And row 5, one of our super speedway guys, if you will, a Monday and Wednesday and Saturday driver going to make an appearance tonight. Richard Sanchez will start 9th, and Isaiah Dupree in the 86. He will start from 10th. Row 6 is where you'll find Cody Eldred, who's faded out of the points battle a little bit over the past several weeks. And then next to him, our points leader, Hunter Carlson, deep in the field, has work to do. He'll start from 12th. Row 7 will be the owner of the league, Alex Green, the boss man. He'll start 13th, and Davey Weaver in the 16. He'll start from 14th. Last 2 cars in the field tonight, Jordan Anderson in the 10 and Bo Benham in the 64. So 16 cars have made the trip, and if I remember correctly, all of these guys were here the first time that we ran the Martinsville Speedway back in, I believe it was season 1. I believe it was late season 1, if I remember correctly. It was the first trip to Martinsville. This is our second trip to Martinsville. This time under the sunlight. Last time under the lights, this time in the sun. And the lights will go out atop the pace car. We'll get ready to go. You see, they start to warm their tires. They start to get restart practice, and a grueling race ahead. And for the guy on the pole, heavy is the head that wears the crown. That's going to be Matt Hayden tonight. Can Matt Hayden get to victory lane, perhaps make this an anticipated points battle as we get ready to get down to business from Martinsville. Glad you joined me. Thanks so much for coming out. 250 laps lie ahead of us, and I am so ready. Hope you are as well. And here we go. Pace car is down. It'll be Matt Hayden and Stoney Benfield that bring the field into the restart zone for the first time. And away we go from Martinsville. Off turn 4. Green flag is in the air. We are racing for the Martinsville Speedway.
Stoney got a really good jump there.
I was going to say the same thing, and you saw him, I don't know if you noticed, with 1 to go, he did a little bit of a practice jump on the outside trying to beat Matt Hayden to turn 1. He was practicing his get up to speed, try not to spin the rear tires, but Matt Hayden, the bottom line, is going to prevail here off turn 4. And look, for these guys, and you know this, these tires spin a lot, especially on the short track setup. That's what I noticed. You can really kick the rear tires out. Trouble in the back. One car was around, I believe it's Chris Weaver, and it's right in front of a few different cars. Jimmy Fitzmaurice going to get a piece of this as well. And that's an awfully quick pause to things as Chris Weaver gets turned, but luckily he doesn't look to be a ton of damage aboard the 88. We'll take a quick look at it. He was running inside of Richard Sanchez as they came off turn number 2 and onto the backstretch, and clears up on the nose of Sanchez. Perhaps thought he was going to get a clear call, and that clear call never came. He drives across the nose of the 5. 5 gets in the back of him, and here comes Jimmy Fitzmaurice. Man, nothing he could do. He vaults the 5 up into the air, and I'm surprised this one's not bigger than it is. This was almost a track blocker, and luckily everybody else, props to the field behind these guys, able to get it slowed down. We're going to take another look at this, and I mean, again, Christian, I'll go back to you. I know it's really quick start for you tonight, but to me it looks like, I think he thought he was going to drive himself clear off 2 and just barely did not make it. Perhaps, thought he was going to get that clear call and never got it.
Yeah, it's really difficult coming off the corners here. You get off the corner, it's tight. The guy on the outside is going to be on your door, and it's really hard to know exactly when you're going to be clear, and it's so important to get that good angle into the corner if you want to make any lap time. I think we'll probably see it a few times tonight. And I think a key to this race will be avoiding those and trying not to get caught in the big traffic jam on one of these straightaways.
Well, the traffic jams, as we saw last time, we got into a couple of long runs. We'll take one more look at this one here off turn number 2. But we got into a couple of longer runs in the last race here that, we got spread out. Once you get spread out, these kinds of incidents don't really happen much, especially in a 16-car field. Because you just get so spread out. Everybody's running single file. You only pass when you need to, and you're not running side by side. Now, obviously, not going to be easy to do that now that we're bunched back up, but nonetheless, a tough start to the night for Chris Weaver, for Richard Sanchez, and for Jimmy Fitzmaurice, whose nights have already been derailed here on lap 5. We'll single out the field, and we'll give, notably, Stoney Benfield another chance at this restart. He got a really good jump on the first one. Trey Galgan is all the way through to the 3rd position, and then Rusty Modesty's 4th. It's actually kind of funny. Modesty and Richard Sanchez are running the exact same car tonight. So I may have gotten them mixed up. It actually might have been Modesty that was involved in the incident and not Richard Sanchez. But again, I'm not really sure they're running, and I'll show you what I mean, the exact same car. Kellogg Chevrolet. Well, actually, he's in the Chevyland Chevrolet, so pardon me, Richard Sanchez. I was calling out the wrong 5 car. We got 2 of them on the racetrack, and I got confused. Nonetheless, green flag coming back out, lap 7. Quick caution. We're right back to it. Green flag is in the air, and off Matt Hayden goes towards turn number 1. And that time, Stoney Benfield, not really caught sleeping, but Matt Hayden got a great start, and he is off to a 2-car length lead as they hit turns 1 and 2. Not much double file all the way back to this field. Anderson Benham, double file back here. That is for the 12th position. And Bo Benham says, I'm going to use the real estate and jump up on the outside. The problem is in this car, it's not as effective. You see Chris Weaver get the outside wall as the 2 leaders start to pull away a little bit. And I'm kind of surprised. Trey Galgan had the most speed at Richmond. He had the most speed a couple of other short track races this season, and they are driving away from him and Modesty and the rest of the field. And it's really the Matt Hayden Stoney Benfield show here at the front. Stoney Benfield, how about the speed out of the 75 so far in this race? He's within a car length of our leader. It'll be awfully hard to pass that Viagra Ford Taurus tonight. He's going to be the man on a mission as he puts lap 10 on the board.
Yeah, Stoney is very good on these short tracks. He is really good in the braking zones, and he knows how to keep the car from getting a little wheel spin off the corners. I think he's going to give the 6 car a little bit of an issue tonight.
Well, Matt Hayden starting to drive away. He's put a half a second on Benfield. He had to go back here to 3rd for the closest battle on the speedway. That's where Trey Galgan's under fire from the 5 of Rusty Modesty. He's the 5. Richard Sanchez the 5'10", with the 5 on the side of the car. So, again, some confusion there as we got 5 cars on the racetrack, but nonetheless, we'll get past it. Biggest mover already, 2 guys. Hunter Carlson, the points leader's up 4 spots. He's up to 8th. Isaiah Dupree is now at 5 spots. He's up to 5th as he goes on by Brent Elmore. Dupree is the man on the move, just as he was the man on the move back at Dover. If you'll remember back to that race. Oh, man, Elmore shoots it off in the corner, gets on the curbs, and is going to turn the 86. Into the outside wall goes Dupree, and again, another yellow flag is going to be thrown. And, man, Brent Elmore was all kinds of out of shape going into 3, and we'll see. I'll look back on it here, but it looks to me like it's a victim of this car. This car does not like to stop. It does not like to turn. With the amount of horsepower you got going in the corner, let's see. On Brent Elmore, you saw it happen really live on your screen, and watch as he wheel hops here getting into turn 3. And, well, you know what? I'm not sure if it was as much of a wheel hop as I think Isaiah Dupree, and this kind of goes back to Christian, what you were saying at the top of the show. I think Dupree may have had a little bit earlier braking than perhaps Brent Elmore thought he was going to, and by the time he got there, you're going so much faster. Again, it's hard to woe these cars down. He has to dive out of the way. We'll double check here. Let's watch how early the 86 goes into the brakes here, headed for turn 3. Watch the front end of the car. You see he's already in the brakes. Elmore not yet in the brakes. Now, once he's in the brakes, well, he doesn't want to run over the 86. And once you hit this curb, it's really tough. He actually puts the left sides up over the other side of the curb and taps the 86 right there and sends him. This is a very quintessential Martinsville wreck. Somebody hops the curbs. You get one guy sideways and you back it in the fence. No damage really for either car, but it's going to set Dupree back on track position. A tough break there, but again, Christian, I think it goes back to what you were saying. I think Dupree's braking zone didn't really match what Brent Elmore had in mind.
I agree. I think Isaiah was taking it a little bit easy, just taking care of the car. I think Brent really wanted to go ahead and be aggressive early, get after some spots, and it's tough to stop him. Once you get up on a car, if you step down on the brake a little bit, you run so much rear brake bias in these things to keep the car turning. It just yanks the car left and got him a little out of shape, and around they went.
Watch it one more time here from the onboard for Elmore so you can kind of see what I mean. I actually have to go back it up a little bit further so I can get the camera queued up. So Dupree makes the pass here in 1 and 2. And then as they go into 3 and 4, I'm going to go on board and watch now. You see how early Isaiah's in the brakes? He's in the brakes way early. Elmore's not anticipating that. And again, you have to dive out of the way. But this car, so much horsepower in the back end of these cars that you have to, once you woe it down and you dive out of the way like that, it's hard to keep it from coming back up. And unfortunately there for Brent Elmore, he gets into the side of Isaiah Dupree. Again, not a major incident there by any means, but going to set Isaiah back several spots. He'll actually drop all the way to 16th position. So a tough break for Isaiah early in this race. He'll have to go back and get the track position that he already had. But he will start to do so on this restart, which will be on lap number 18 of 250. Matt Hayden again leads the field into the Geico restart zone. We will try this again. 233 laps remaining at Martinsville. Green flag is back in the air, and away we go towards turn number 1. And it's another really great race start for Matt Hayden. But you saw there how many cars were swinging the back end. These tires are spinning already 18 laps into a fuel run. So they're going to have to watch out, not burn up the rear tires here early in the run. That's what Dupree was trying not to do when he got turned by the 31 of Brent Elmore. So 19 laps into the run. If I remember correctly, a fuel run here was about 40 to 50 laps, if I remember correctly, something along those lines. It's what it's been at Bristol and Richmond as well. So pretty comparable numbers. And Matt Hayden off to a 1-car length lead, make it 2 here off turn number 4. It'll actually be closer to 3 by the time they go back into turn number 1. Biggest mover now is Hunter Carlson. He's up to 7th. He's plus 5. Matt Hayden only 6 points better than the points leader. Not going to cut it for him in the points battle as of right now, but a long race left to go. We're going to take a look at Isaiah Dupree. He's on the move back here. Already to 14th. He'll take 13th here in 3 and 4. And, well, I don't know if it's frustration or if it's the speed he has underneath the race car, but Isaiah Dupree, the 86, the man on the move right now, as Richard Sanchez gets way up the track there in turns 1 and 2.
Yeah, it's always good to have a little issue early. You make your way back, and you might have a good car. but a little frustration will always bring your focus in a little bit extra and give you a little extra motivation to get yourself back up front.
Well, we've seen it happen to Isaiah this season. We've seen it happen to Matt Hayden and you as well. Really, almost everybody at the top of the point standings has had to do this at least once, drive from the back to the front. We saw a few guys have to do it in Bristol several weeks back, as well as Richmond a couple weeks back as well. Sebastian Marin comes to mind as a guy that had to drive back to front at Richmond, and he did so a couple of different times after some pit miscommunications early in that race. Dupree is already 16th to 11th on this restart, but we got a change up front that we missed talking about Dupree, and it's a new leader in Martinsville. Stoney Benfield has gone to the race lead, and he'll now try to drive away, but Matt Hayden putting pressure back on him, knocking on the door. Galgan and Modesty have entered this battle as well. Good stuff here at the front, almost 25 laps in Martinsville. Brent Elmore, by the way, has stayed up front. He is up to 5th. Carlson is now 6th in the 2. He's back here in front of Cody Eldred, so he's on his way to the front as well. Off turn 2, still a 4-car, about to be a 5-car battle for the lead. As here comes Brent Elmore. He has made this a nice 5-car battle for the lead, but again, you have to choose your moments when you want to pass. You see Modesty, he's peaking. He wants 3rd really badly, but you notice he's not able to make the move quite yet, and it's because you have to wait. You have to manage your runs, and now Galgan starts to drive away again as Elmore closes in on this battle, as we are just over halfway through our first fuel run, actually really closing in on halfway through our second fuel run of the night. These guys all, I believe, came to pit road under our first caution. And man, this has turned into a 5. It's going to be a 6-car battle. Well, it was going to be a 6-car battle, but the caution flag is out again, and unsure what this one's for. We'll have to try to take a look and see what happened. I believe it's Gary Falco, perhaps. It's going to get some contact here in 3 and 4, and it is right here, the 77. Off the bumper of Bo Benham, our Daytona winner from last season. And another quintessential Martinsville wreck. I mean, this is Martinsville at its finest, and I think it's kind of a similar thing that we just saw with, wow, I'm honestly kind of surprised that's a caution. The 77 never got all the way around. We'll go back here. I want to see if this really is the same as what we just saw. And watch Bo Benham, the 64. 77's in the brakes. 64's not in the brakes quite yet. Still not. Now he rolls into him there on the entrance, and as he goes to arc this corner, he's going to get in the back of Gary Falco, trying to carry speed. There's the contact right there, and around goes the 77. Well, again, I say around. He really only ever got about halfway sideways. Benham only got about a quarter way sideways, taps the inside wall, and that was all she wrote. So I'm really surprised that's a caution personally, but again, Christian, another example of guys not anticipating braking points, trying to carry some speed, just not being used to the guy in front of them and where they're getting back in the throttle in the middle of the corner.
Yeah, I agree there. I was surprised that was a caution. They were able to keep it pretty straight going there. But yeah, just it's tough. It's tough to expect that, and then it's also very tough because these cars, the bumpers don't align very nicely, and it just a little bit of contact can really get you bent out of shape.
I'll lift you off the ground as well. That's what happened to Gary Falco right there. His rear tires up off the racing surface. Now, again, I'm really surprised that brought out a caution because those guys never got fully around, but these cautions have been very fast tonight. I mean, they have not taken very long, so we'll get down to business, right back to it. A split pit strategy here. 4 cars staying out on the racetrack. Matt Hayden, Rusty Modesty, Hunter Carlson, and Gary Falco. Stoney Benfield on back. Came to pit road to grab tires, fill up on gas, so a split pit strategy all of a sudden has begun to present itself as well. Not surprising that Matt Hayden did not come to pit road. He does not want to give up the lead tonight. Feels it almost as if he can't give up the lead tonight, and that he needs to be up front at all times, if at all possible. Another restart coming. Our third caution of the night is done and over with, and we will be going back to green on lap 32, which leaves us with 219 laps to go in this one. So Matt Hayden continues to lead. Modesty, Carlson, and Falco are on this off-cycle strategy with him. And we're about to get it back underway here from Martinsville. Into the restart zone again. Matt Hayden's got good restarts all night. He gets another good one right here, and off we go. Trouble in the back. It's Benfield. He gets spun sideways. We're immediately going to go back under caution, and it was the leader under the previous run, Stoney Benfield. He got stacked up on the restart, And just as soon as we're back to green and we're back under the yellow flag again, this was back here around the 5th, 6th place area. They come off turn 4, and we're going to get a better look at this one here so we can kind of unpack. And this is something that's happened both seasons of this series. Almost every week, it seems like it happens once. Somebody goes, and the person in front of them is not able to go. And let's see here, off turn number 4, coming into the restart zone. You see right there, Benfield's on the gas, Falco's not. And as soon as Benfield has to lift, here comes Trey Galgan. And into the back of him he goes, and it stacks up to 75. And shoots him sideways and puts us, right back under the caution. We make it about 500 feet, and we're back under the yellow flag again. But this should be a very quick caution, as this one was pretty straightforward. And it's something that we've seen so much in this series over the past 2 seasons. Somebody just does not quite get going, and as soon as Benfield goes, he realizes, oh, not where I can go. And unfortunately, by the time the 75's on it, everybody behind him is on the gas as well.
It gets tough. It gets really tough in the as you start to get further back in the field to get these things restarted. The cars have a lot of power, and if you're just a couple seconds earlier than the guy in front of you, it's almost impossible to get stopped. That's why I actually really like what Matt did, staying out there. I think the further back you get, the more difficult it gets to really try to move forward, get a good start, and try to reel in the leader. You just don't have as much. You already start at such a deficit.
So we'll go back to live action and try this again. Benfield remains on pit road as he repairs his race car, and we'll try to get it back out there. Matt Hayden, he's in a good spot right now, almost 50 laps into this one, and he's led almost all of those 50 laps. And I've been actually speaking wrong the whole time. The points standings changed a lot after last week's race. As actually Hunter Carlson is 3rd in points, so he's the one trying to make up points. He's now 3rd on the racetrack. Hayden is 2nd in points, 10 points behind Christian Strader, who, man, it's got to be even tougher to watch from up here. He's got a 10-point lead, but Matt Hayden, he's running up front right now as we get ready to go back to green. That's, again, I said it would sting. It's got to sting extra knowing that he might take the points lead tonight.
Yeah, it definitely does. I didn't feel safe coming out here today. I didn't want to become an issue out there. And at the end of the day, everybody here they're all good racers. They're good guys, and causing any issues out there and just turning any bad laps would have just been. I felt like it might have caused some issues during this race.
I'll completely respect that. Matt Hayden, obviously still a long way to go. Now he's on this different strategy as everybody else, so we'll see how that pans out for him as the race goes on. The man to watch now going to be Galgan, as well as Stoney Benfield. We'll see what he can do. Trey Galgan already up a spot. He's taken 4th from Gary Falco, but the 2 leaders have driven away and done so in quick fashion. Already 2 seconds between Matt Hayden and 3rd place Hunter Carlson. But Rusty Modesty is hanging with the 6. He wants the lead. Already some damage aboard the Kellogg Chevrolet, but he labors on. Martinsville, not the most aero-dependent track on the schedule, so it's not going to hurt him very much, and he'll be able to continue to run 2nd. Carlson settles into 3rd, Galgan into 4th. And the man to watch now will be Isaiah Dupree. He is 9th. Stoney Benfield is back in 14th. 40 laps down, 211 to go here from Martinsville. And again, once we get into a bit of a single file run, which it appears we are starting to do, we'll jump back here through the field and check. This race is going to start to go by very quickly because, again, very short lap times, only 250 laps. That's not a super long time. And once we get into a green flag run, you really tick these laps off quickly. You're looking at Isaiah Dupree. He is 9th, running right behind Cody Eldred and Davey Weaver in 7th and 8th as he plots his next move. Stoney Benfield is back in 14th. We'll take a look at him as well as he looked for a spot there in 3 and 4. Nothing doing for him, though. Battle is brewing up front. Hunter Carlson is going to be under fire. Oh, but he gets turned by the 49 of Galgan, and this one's going to be another caution. And, oh, man, Gary Falco, oh, my goodness, Jordan Anderson getting involved, as well as Richard Sanchez as they piled in turns 1 and 2. And this was Trey Galgan again. This is the second one for Galgan tonight. Let's see. We saw it. We came back to it. And this one was Hunter Carlson. And I think it's almost a carbon copy of what we just saw with Bo Benham and Gary Falco. We'll double check here just to make sure. So Galgan goes in on the top, and now watch as he carries speed and then dives back in. Watch this right here. It's the same thing we just saw from Bo Benham. He carries speed up on the top line, and he goes to diamond the corner. So he goes to drive out. He has a straighter exit. And, man, as he goes to drive out, just drives right through the back of Hunter Carlson. And, man, it's a tough look from Galgan. Again, a guy who has so much speed on short tracks. And that's a very early move in the middle of the corner, and he gets in the back of Hunter Carlson. And now watch as they pile in behind him. Falco, nowhere for him to go. He just has to come to a stop, and here come Jordan Anderson and Richard Sanchez. And, oh, man, Anderson up and over Lightning McQueen style there in turns 1 and 2. And Stoney Benfield gets involved as well. Off Bo Benham. Another, just, it feels like every incident, I feel like a broken record, but it's the case every single time. And it's that a guy is just not used to what the guy in front of him is going to do. He's not used to the braking point, or in this case, like the last incident, the throttle point here of Hunter Carlson. So Carlson, when we talk about diamonding the corner, you do what Trey Galgan does right there. Roll in, roll up the track, and then have a very straight drive off, a very straight exit off. It gives you a ton of exit speed. It's a masterful tactic here at a short track to be really fast on the exit of the corner. But unfortunately there, you have a car so close in front of you, you just misjudged how close Hunter Carlson was, and in the end, gets in the back of him. And it's a tough break for a guy in Hunter Carlson that we just said really could use the points tonight.
Yeah, it definitely is a big break, or hard break for the 2-car there. And then the other big thing is it's what makes Martinsville a difficult place to kind of get around and pass people. You never know where they're going to get to, especially when you get side by side with somebody there. That shallow entry makes it where you really have to back up the middle of the corner, try to get the car turned, and it's what causes some accidents. You get guys getting a better entry into the corner, be on the outside, and they're just able to roll so much more speed.
We'll see what Galgan can do now. He's third after that incident. And away we go once again. Lap 47 on the board, 204 laps remaining here from Martinsville. Green flag is in the air, and away we go towards turn number 1. Everybody gets off the line okay. Bit of a stack up further back, but everybody got away just fine. And off we go off of turn number 2. One car is way off the pace. It's Gary Falco, who is a lap down behind the field. You're going to hear him roll past our camera in 3 and 4. You see him up ahead there just crossing the start-finish line. And so they will catch Falco to lap him in just a moment. Battle is on for the 5th position. Isaiah Dupree's comeback trail continues as he has passed the 4. Now sets his sights on Alex Green in the 4th position to get to position number 4, continue his run back to the front. Brent Elmore as well. He'll follow the 86 on through, and he will get to the 6th position here off turn number 4. Stoney Benfield further back. He's looking for 11th on Hunter Carlson. He'll get that spot headed into turn number 1. Up front, 2 car lengths, make it 1 on entry, separate our leader from Rusty Modesty, but don't look now. Here comes Trey Galgan, a guy that has won on short tracks this season already, and has a couple wins on these kinds of tracks and knows how to get around them, and he's working that diamond formation in the corner. Able to get to the leaders, but Falco is stopped up against the outside wall. Gary Falco's had some problems here on the entry of turn number 3. Can everybody get past him? Everybody does. Props to the field right there, and props to Falco for staying up in the outside wall. And we avoid disaster there. As we reach the 200 laps to go mark at Martinsville, Matt Hayden, Rusty Modesty, Trey Galgan are your top 3 right now. And Galgan appears to be the man on the move in the 49.
The 49 car looks really fast right now. He's getting through the middle of the corner really well.
He's actually gone away from the diamond a little bit. He's been diamonding the corner. We'll see if he does it here in 3 and 4, where you kind of roll in and let it roll up the speedway and then drive it off the corner. He's kind of transitioned away from that trouble. One car has crashed. I believe it might be Gary Falco again, as he was trying to get to pit road. Let's see what happens here. I hope I didn't accidentally credit him with a caution, because I think he gets to pit road. Well, he comes to a stop here on the pit entry, and that's what brings out the caution. So Not really a need to look back at another replay of that. He comes to a stop and jumps to his pit box. So now we'll actually get a live look at pit stops because of that. Oh, but a strategy call. The man who pit under the last caution, Stoney Benfield, who is back at the back, he's going to stay out here under this, the sixth caution of the night. Benfield will stay out and inherit the race lead. And in a race like this, where cautions have become such a big storyline, man, that could be a race-changing decision for the 75. He gains back all the track position he lost, and now will be the man to lead the field back to the green. Richard Sanchez stays out as well. Everybody else, from Matt Hayden on back, is on pit road this time by. So split strategy out the door for Matt Hayden. Stoney Benfield, meanwhile, pulls the strategy card this time and stays out to lead the race in a race that has not seen a ton of green flag action.
I like what 75 did there. He's probably pretty close on fuel, and you just can't get in trouble if you're out front and in the lead.
Well, that's what was going on with Matt Hayden, Rusty Modesty, Trey Galgan and company there as they got out front, and it seemed like, again, they were immune to that. Now Hayden's got to get back up on the horse here, go back to the front, and the 75 is going to be a very tough car to pass here on a short track. We've seen it in the past. Still awaiting that first win. Could tonight be the night for the NC811.org Chevrolet? We'll have to wait and see. He'll lead the field back to another restart in a race that has been bogged down by cautions. We're still awaiting our first green flag run. And it's kind of the same thing as Bristol and Martinsville. If we can get into one, or Bristol and Richmond, excuse me. If we can get into one green flag run, it feels like we can go the rest of the race. It feels like if we can get into a cycle, everybody will get so spread out that we'll be able to get back to where we can get single file and run some laps, run some green flag laps, and kind of start to see the strategy card play out. We saw it at Richmond a few weeks back, and we'll see if we see it here again tonight. Stoney Benfield will bring the field back into the restart zone. It'll be lap 58 when we go back green. I thought we were going green right here, but we're not. So we'll go one more lap around. You see the guys on new tires, and this is something I kind of wonder. The guys back on new tires, Matt Hayden, Trey Galgan, and Rusty Modesty, waving the car back and forth. They're scrubbing them. You know, I haven't driven these cars enough to know. You guys obviously drive them every week. Are cold tires a real thing in these cars? You know, do you need to warm them up before the restart?
I'm not too big on warming them up before the restart. Don't feel like it makes that big of a difference. But at a place like this at Martinsville, I mean, you'll take whatever extra little bit of grip that you can get anytime on a restart here.
Well, that's what Hayden and oh, go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead. I was gonna say we're coming back to green. Let's go ahead and
let's get back to it. Lap 58 on the board. We're inside of 200 laps to go. Had some trouble at the back. I believe the pace car might pick these guys back up, and they will. I believe it's hopefully going to just delay the start a lap. I think that is the case, as they wrecked before technically the green flag came back out. So we'll go back around one more time. We'll try this again on lap 59. There's a trouble further back. Jimmy Fitzmaurice, Cody Eldred, Davey Weaver perhaps involved in this one. A stack up, I guess?
Big stack up. The 4-car took a pretty hard hit for being under yellow there. I'm actually really surprised to see what they were able to do at that pace.
Oh, shortest run for the pace car driver all night tonight. He'll go a half a lap back around and dive right back onto the pit lane. Let's see if we can get it going this time around and get some green flag laps in. Benfield brings the field off turn 4, and away we go once again in the restart zone. Green flag is back in the air for Martinsville on lap 59 of 250. Trouble! Sanchez is into the outside wall, but he keeps it straight, so the caution flag will stay tucked underneath the flag stand, as Sanchez now will have to see how much damage the 510 has suffered as a part of that. Matt Hayden got in the back of him there in turns 1 and 2 as we got on the restart. Matt Hayden got in the back of him, headed for turn 1 as the 5 potentially spun the tires there on the restart. He's already faded to 7th. As Matt Hayden, on a couple lap newer tires, tries to run down Stoney Benfield, who has found himself back at the front of the field. But Matt Hayden, he has to hold off a hungry Rusty Modesty. The 5-car is on the move from 3rd as he tries to move his way forward. And now, for the first time all night, it feels like I'm saying this, we are single file 1 through 16, at least for the moment, as guys try to find their way through the field. Biggest mover, by the way, right now, Bo Benham is up 8 spots. So is Alex Green. great run for both those guys. Alex Green, our Talladega winner from last season. Right as I say that, of course, I jinx him, just like I did last time, and he drops to 6th. He gets loose off turn 4, but maintains the 6th position behind Isaiah Dupree. As 4-car battle for the lead starts to shape up, and man, this has got to be frustrating for Matt Hayden and company, because this feels like rush hour traffic with everyone running the bottom line along the curbs in the corners.
Oh yeah, it definitely gets a little frustrating. But Martinsville is all about patience. If you can keep your head on, stay patient. If you're a little bit quicker, you'll eventually get around them, and I think it really matters to kind of keep the car clean.
Matt Hayden is knocking on the door. He might be doing a little bit more than knocking on it now. He's trying to kick the door in here on Stony Benfield as he has turned up the heat. He's turned up the pressure, and he crosses over. Can he get to the inside? Not this time, but he's half a car length back. You got to watch your braking points. Watch this drive off. It's the same thing we just saw with Trey Galgan. Matt Hayden, oh man, what a crossover move by the 6. Big move off 4. Can Benfield defend the line? He's going to run him to the curbs in 1 and 2. Can Benfield defend the position? Nope, he's going to give it up. And that's exactly what you just talked about. Patience out of the 75 as well as the 6. We avoid an incident because both guys kept their heads screwed on straight and just kept moving forward because there's 185 laps to go. Benfield loses 2nd here to Modesty. He'll battle back in turn 1. Not a ton of battling he can do up on the outside, though. Modesty will get that spot, and Galgan will try to drive through to 3rd. And now Matt Hayden sets sail. He is hoping that this one stays green, and that he can start to drive away from the guys behind him, but don't look now. Here comes the 86. Isaiah Dupree has worked himself into the picture and starts to run down Stony Benfield, and the rest of these guys up front for 2nd, and 2nd through 4th, excuse me. As Matt Hayden, again, I called him the man on the mission at the top of the show tonight. He's the man on the mission right now, the Viagra Taurus. A ton of speed underneath him as he continues to lead the way. Lap 68 on the board.
Yeah, he's definitely a man on the mission, and he, sadly to say, it looks like he might be going for those bonus points, leading the most laps here for myself. That's a little tough to see that one.
Another caution flag. Right as I said, we were getting into a green flag run, and this is Richard Sanchez again. The bad night gets to worse here in turns 3 and 4. He's already been involved in a couple tonight. This one's going to involve Bo Benham. And again, it's exactly... Oh, actually... Okay, I thought it was going to be more of a... Well, he didn't really know his throttle point in the center of the corner, but no, if you saw right there, Sanchez wheel hopped. He got up on the curbs and lost grip in the middle of the corner, and Benham gets on top of him, and Sanchez goes for a slide. Another one, just like the Gary Falco incident, that I'm just not sure that's really worthy of a caution. I mean, it's all iRacing controlled cautions here, so again, I'm not accusing anyone of anything, but this is a very suspect caution, shall we say, just because... And you see the wheel hop right there. He's up off the ground. And look at how much grip, look at how much speed he loses, too, in the middle of the corner. And around he goes. And this time, actually, okay, he does get halfway around. So I'll credit that one for being an actual caution.
Yeah, getting on the curbs here is tough. I mean, once you get onto the curb, it's a tough time trying to regather the car, and you better be on the brakes, otherwise you will go right back around.
Well, the problem for Sanchez is he's on the brakes, but he's got 2 cars in line behind him, and this is not at fault at Bo Benham. And you see right there, I mean, the left sides are all the way up off the ground, and as soon as he bounces back down, he's in the brakes. You can see him in the brakes, the fire out of the pipes. You can see he's trying to woe it down, but Bo Benham, again, these cars are so hard to stop, and he gets in the back of him. No fault to anyone there. Just, again, another Martinsville incident. Martinsville claims another victim. Here tonight, it's claimed several already in this race, and Richard Sanchez just the latest victim of the Martinsville Speedway. He'll actually go a lap down as well on this pit cycle. So again, a tough night working for Richard Sanchez right now as he runs in the 15th position, the first car 1 lap down. Matt Hayden is, I would imagine, frustrated. I mean, I know I would be, leading a bunch of laps, but finally got the lead back from Stony Benfield. But man, he just cannot escape the caution flag, and it keeps giving not only a chance for the guys behind him to keep with him, but also a chance for a mistake on the restart. I'm not saying that Hayden's a mistake-prone driver, but every driver in this field makes a single mistake, and once you make a single mistake here, it could completely end your race. Matt Hayden hoping to avoid that. As we get ready for another restart, 178 laps to go here from Martinsville, as we get ready to get back under the green flag. Our 7th caution of the night. Yep, that's a lot. But nonetheless, we're going to try this one again. on lap 73. Pace car is down. Matt Hayden, Modesty, Galgan, Dupree, Alex Green are your top 5. Stoney Benfield came to pit road and got tires under that caution. Green flag is back in the air, and away we go towards turn number 1. Watching for a stack up at the back. Everybody no harm, no foul, and off we go through 1 and 2. Modesty again tries to work on Matt Hayden, but man, Matt Hayden has been the class of the field on restarts in this race so far, and he's actually modified his line a little bit. He's actually moved up just a tad to the second line. Trouble further back. It was Jimmy Fitzmaurice, but everybody is going to keep it together, and we're going to stay green. And back to what I was saying about Matt Hayden, he's kind of moved up. Watch his line right here in 3 and 4. He runs in up on the second lane and is about a half lane off the curbs. Now Modesty, he saw that. He's starting to test it as well, and it's paying dividends for the 6 and the 5 here as they head back towards turn number 1.
It's a good move to eventually move up a little bit here. As the race goes, it gets a little hot down right on the bottom. The tires get a little worn out, and it gets a little harder to stay right against that curb. And once you can get up just a little bit and open up the corner entry, you can make pretty good time and pretty good speed around. As long as there's not a car that's going to get to your inside, I think it pays off.
Caution flag on the speedway again. This one's for Davey Weaver, as he got sideways back around the 10th or 12th position, and it's going to involve Jimmy Fitzmaurice. Let's see here in turns 3 and 4 what happens on this one. See Weaver running right in front of the 33, and I think this is going to be another incident where a driver perhaps doesn't quite know when the guy in front of him is going to get back on the gas. And you see it right there. Weaver still out of the throttle. Fitzmaurice gasses it up and gets into the back of Davey Weaver and sends him for a prolonged slide here off turn 4. He actually got it gathered up, but then overcorrected and slides it back to the middle of the racetrack, and that brings out our 8th caution of tonight's race. As you see Weaver, lucky for him, nobody comes on and hits him. Everybody does a good job of getting out of his way and is able to avoid any further contact. There's actually already a considerable amount of front-end damage on that race car. Not sure what that's from, but nonetheless, tough break for Davey Weaver, tough break for Jimmy Fitzmaurice. But again, I feel like I've said this every time we've had a caution, but it just continues to be true. Fitzmaurice carrying a ton more speed through the middle of the corner than Davey Weaver. And again, by the time you can react, you're in the back of the guy in front of you, and you lift him off the ground, and you're spinning him sideways.
Yeah, definitely. Actually, it looks like, going back around, it looks like the 86 might have incurred a little damage getting with the 16 car. I think he ended up coming down pit road here.
Let's see here. See if we can find this for Dupree. No visible damage when the caution flag. Oh, there is a little bit of maybe rear end damage on the 86. Oh, wow. Oh, no, I see what you mean now. Okay, so they come back around. Davey Weaver, this is such a tough place to get out of the racing groove when the caution comes out. Here comes Dupree, and Weaver's backing up, and man, the 86 and 16 come together. Dupree gets the wall and the side of the 16. Now, I don't think the hit to the 16 was that substantial, but the hit to the wall sure was. And Dupree has to come back down pit road and fix some damage. Wow. Tough break. But Martinsville claims another victim.
That's a big game changer there. The 86 had made up a lot of ground. He was looking really good.
So he's going to have to come get damage repaired, as the lights will stay on atop the pace car. We're on lap 80, 171 laps to go. And yeah, that's a big change in the race. We'll go back here and take a look at the 86. I believe he's clean again. Yeah, he's got a clean car, but he's going to have to do the same thing he already did. Try from the back to the front once more. Benfield, by the way, took tires on the last caution. He is 6th on another restart here. Hayden leads, Modesty 2nd, Galgan 3rd, Green 4th, Elmore 5th. That has not changed. Benfield is 6th, Hunter Carlson is 7th, Bo Benham 8th, Jimmy Fitzmaurice 9th, and Jordan Anderson is 10th. The last 3 cars on the lead lap are Chris Weaver, Cody Eldred, and Richard Sanchez, all running behind Isaiah Dupree, who we already mentioned. 15th is Davey Weaver. He has, I believe, called it a night, perhaps. It looks like he has called it an evening. And Gary Falco has called it a night as well in the 77. They will finish 15th and 16th in tonight's race. 82 laps to go on the board, 169 left to go. As again, we await our first green flag pit stop. I feel like we're going to be saying that a lot tonight, but we have not made it to one yet. Our next one would be around halfway. And getting ready to go back under green. Matt Hayden, man, the field is way stacked up on this one. Hayden, slow roll into the Geico restart zone this time. And waiting on the green flag. Green flag is out. We're back racing in Martinsville. I think it might have come out in turn 3. I think they just waited until they got around to the front stretch. Probably the smarter move there to try not to go green in turn 3. But nonetheless, that was a wonky sequence there as they all got really stacked up in 3 and 4. But Hayden drives away with the lead. Modesty drives away with second. And then Trey Galgan is under fire. The boss man, Alex Green, might be the man on the move here. He's up to 4th. And looking for more on Trey Galgan. We'll watch Benfield in 6th. We'll watch Dupree back in 11th as they both try to pick up some spots. Dupree already up 1. He gets 10th from Jordan Anderson. He's got a ways to make up to get back to the leaders as Matt Hayden just wants to settle into a rhythm. He says, come on, man, let's just get into a green flag run and get me to a pit stop. And I'm going to do really well once this race gets into that green flag cycle. We have yet to reach that point in this race. And again, it seems like we get about 15, 20 laps into a run, and then an incident occurs, and we're right back under the yellow flag. This time, Hayden under some serious fire here from Rusty Modesty in second. The 5 still running that bottom lane along the curb. Hayden still running that second lane, about a half lane off the bottom, as the Kellogg Chevrolet showing some speed now in the middle portions of this race.
I really like to see what the 5's doing here. I think he's running a good line, and it just looks like Matt may have just gotten a little tight over the constant green flag, just restarting, and maybe got the right front a little heated here.
Well, now he starts to drive away just a little bit. Still about a car length and a half. Actually, Modesty has moved up. So as soon as I said he was still running the curb, he's down. He's now up about where Matt Hayden is running, about a half lane off the bottom. You'll see it here in 3 and 4. As actually both cars now go down towards the curbs, and it's because they look in the mirror and see Trey Galgan is on the move. Again, the 49 is rolling towards the front, and he's already close to within a second and a half on these guys and trying to go get another win in what's been a really surprisingly good season. I'm not saying surprising because we didn't, he's not a good driver or anything, more just that we hadn't seen anything out of him. He should have won at Chicagoland. A pit strategy error, miscalculation comes back to get him in that race. Then he obviously goes and wins. I'll have to look back on this. I know he won at Richmond. I know he won at Michigan in dominant fashion. I'll have to go back and look at the other couple of races he's won, but he's put together quite the resume here so far in this series, and looking to add Martinsville to that resume as well. 161 laps to go now at Martinsville as we've reached the lap 90 point, and man on the move is not the 49, but it's the 75 of Stoney Benfield, who picks up 2 spots over the last couple of laps and will charge back towards the leader. Stoney Benfield not out of this one yet, and don't look now, but Isaiah Dupree's not too far behind this battle. He's 5 spots behind the 75 back in 9th as he looks for a couple more spots as well. So the 75's on the move. The 49 is on the move. Both those cars look to be very sporty and willing to challenge our top 2, Hayden and Modesty, as they're almost 100 laps into this one at Martinsville. Man, this is a hornet's nest back here around Hunter Carlson and company. Hunter Carlson, Brent Elmore, Bo Benham, Isaiah Dupree, Jimmy Fitzmaurice under a blanket. And this is the kind of pack racing that gets a little bit dangerous here at a track like Martinsville.
Yeah, this is definitely where things can get a little dicey. You start getting cars side by side. They're not going to roll as well as speed, so the 86 is going to get big runs on both of those guys. And this is where just being patient can really go a long way, because otherwise you're going to end up in the back of the guy in front of you.
Look at Dupree. He picks one off here. He's going to pick off Benham. Let's see if he dives it in. Nope, he's patient. Backs out of the throttle. The 31 gets up on the curbs. Dupree tries to get to his inside. Caught the left rear of Elmore. Now Elmore catches the left rear of Benham, and he's going to spin and collect the 86 of Isaiah Dupree. And a caution flag is back out again. And again, it's Isaiah Dupree, man. 2 cautions in a row. And no, now again, big damage on the 86 is going to derail his night for the 3rd time early in the going, and this started right as we were talking about this hornet's nest. It starts with Brent Elmore right in front of the 86. He gets in the side of Bo Benham there off turn 4, and then overcorrects, spins those rear tires, and gets sideways right in front of Isaiah Dupree. Nowhere to go for the 86 as Knight takes another turn for the worst.
It's a shame for Isaiah there. Just bad luck has really caught to him tonight.
You see the wheel spin on the rear tires there. As soon as you get out of shape, if you try to jerk it back to the right, try to save that car, those rear tires slide. As soon as they slide, the back end kicks out from under you. You've got no control at that point. And Isaiah Dupree, just wrong place, wrong time. For the third time in tonight's race, he's been caught in the wrong place at the wrong time. So, tough break for Isaiah. We'll take one more look at it before we go back and get back to another race start. As we can try to get a little bit better camera angle than that. Here we go. And now watch Elmore. So they hit once. Well, so they actually, let's see if we can back this up and I can show you the initial contact. So watch the 31 of Elmore on the inside, the 64 of Benham on the outside. So they don't hit. Sorry, it was Elmore getting up on the curbs. Dupree gets into the left rear of the 31 once right here. A little tap. Stays off of him. Everybody keeps going. And then as Elmore comes off the corner, Bo Benham tries to drive it straight. And they're going to make contact. You'll see it here. Right there, the 31 of the door number of the 64 of Benham. And again, watch the overcorrect. And as soon as he comes back to the right, those rear tires are spinning. There's no grip anymore. The car over revs. You come back to your right, and there's nothing you can do except brace for the guy that's about to hit you. In this case, it's Isaiah Dupree. And Dupree, again, will come to pit road. He'll have to fix more damage aboard that machine as his night takes another turn for the worst. We're still 3 laps short of lap 100 here in Martinsville. Matt Hayden continuing to lead the way and closing in on nobody being able to touch that bonus point that he's going to grab that you mentioned earlier for leading the most laps here tonight. And if he keeps getting caution flags where they are, that's not going to be an issue for him. He's led a ton of laps under caution to this point in the race. So he will wait to see if he can lead any more laps tonight to get closer to those bonus points. But the guys behind him, Trey Galligan and Stoney Benfield, have figured something out that Matt Hayden and Rusty Modesty have yet to figure out, I don't think. Because they've got the most pace in the field. They were running the best lap times in the field right there on that last run. In fact, actually the fastest lap of the race so far was actually Hayden with a 19.5, excuse me. But 19.51 for Galligan, 19.51 for Modesty. Jimmy Fitzmaurice actually is up to 5th. He's run a 19.59 in this race. So the 33, a potential contender as well when it gets down to it. We're going to try this again. It'll be even lap 100 that goes on the board when we go back under the green flag. As Richard Sanchez brings his car up alongside the leaders. He will be the first car a lap down, the only car one lap down, and will try to get his lap back the hard way. As off turn 451 laps to go in Martinsville. And here we go again. Green flag is back in the air, and it's another outstanding restart for Matt Hayden as Modesty spinning the tires back and forth on that car. And, he's going to get trapped on the outside by Richard Sanchez. That's going to bring Trey Galligan to him here unless Modesty can clear him down into 3, which he cannot. Sanchez will hang to his inside. That's going to bring Trey Galligan, Stoney Benfield, and the rest of this bottom line train right to the back of the 5. As long as Sanchez continues to battle him for that position. And Matt Hayden, this is music to his ears. Exactly what the doctor ordered is watching those guys be double file behind him.
He's definitely loving seeing these guys get side by side. Pull out to a nice, comfortable lead and kind of just set sail and get to run his own race here.
Well, you say set sail. We haven't been able to do that yet in this race. Already, I believe, 10 cautions in the first 100 laps. Not on a great pace here in terms of yellow flags, but nonetheless, Hayden hoping now that this one extends into a bit longer of a green flag run. And so are the guys behind him, but as soon as I say that, they are wrecking him up here at the tail end of turn number 4. And the caution flag is back out. I thought we were going to get away from it without a caution. We do not. Caution flag is out. It's Brent Elmore, Isaiah Dupree again, Cody Eldred, and others back here that were sideways on the exit of turn number 4. Oh, man, this is a classic Martinsville track blocker here in turn 4. The whole entire track was filled up. Let's see what happened here as they went through 3 and 4. I think it's going to start in front of Eldred here. It's going to start, I believe, up there with Richard Sanchez. Hunter Carlson has to back out. You see Benham, he's going to have to back up. The further back these accordion effects go, the worse they get, the more extreme they get. And you see the first guy not quite to get the memo was Jordan Anderson. And then on from there, here comes Chris Weaver. Here comes Isaiah Dupree. Here comes Alex Green. And this is a track blocker here as Dupree slides in. He tries to miss it. Alex Green goes low. He's going to end up missing it. Elmore just has to stop. An old school Martinsville track blocker. And it's not something we had tonight, but something we have now here on just past lap 100. And this one, not as much of a guy, just one guy not knowing their braking point, but more, that one looked to be an accordion effect. And just like we see on the Super Speedway side, even here, when that accordion starts, the further back it goes, the worse it gets.
Yeah, it definitely gets tough. Further back you get, the more you get into that accordion. But makes for a good time for everybody to go take a break and go get a Martinsville hot dog.
Well, I'm pretty sure several of us would have had multiple of them by now in this race. 10 cautions so far in the first 102 laps. Again, not a great pace that we're on tonight, so probably great business over there for the Martinsville hot dogs in this race. But nonetheless, we'll take one more look at this one before we go back to live action. And you'll see the checkup start in front of Cody Eldred. Again, no fault on anybody here. It's just the nature of Martinsville Speedway. And as soon as you see Benham back out of the gas, you see Eldred have to back out, and Anderson gets in the back of him. And from there, it is on. And look at this. Stack up there. Oh, Anderson up off the ground. He goes sideways. Dupree scrambles, tries to get away. And Elmore, watch Brent Elmore. He says, I'm just going to stop. I'm just going to hit the brakes. I'm going to stop. Is why try? Just let Cody Eldred get rolling, and then I'm going to go after that. And it all works out for the 31. So, again, our 10th caution flag of the night on lap 102. As we still have yet to reach halfway in this race. Still 40 laps short of halfway, in fact. And again, a split pit strategy. So interesting here. As Matt Hayden, Rusty Modesty, Trey Galgan, Stoney Benfield, Jimmy Fitzmaurice, and then the involved cars in the incident come to pit road. Here are the cars that stayed out on the racetrack. Hunter Carlson, Bo Benham, Alex Green, Brent Elmore, and Chris Weaver have opted to stay on the speedway. Carlson, this feels like a great spot to stay out. Matt Hayden's now buried in traffic for one of the first times tonight. He's going to have to come through several cars to get back to the front. And if Carlson can get a good enough race start, or perhaps if something perhaps erupts back there around 6th, 7th, 8th place, a great strategy call here from Hunter Carlson to potentially flip the track position, try to get himself in a spot to get in control of this race. He really desperately needs the points.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think just being in control is going to go a long way. Kind of get yourself out of trouble. And then also for Hunter, that five extra bonus points for leading the lap, I mean, it might end up coming to make or break a spot at the end of the season here.
Well, Carlson will be a leader here on the race start. As field works its way off turn 4, Richard Sanchez tail into the lead lap. Green flag is back in the air, and away we go. Trouble for Dupree at the back. I believe he might have just had to stop there because of a stack up. We get into turn 1, and everybody's clean. And now Bo Benham, man, look at the aggression on the 64. He wants the lead here off turn number 2. But Hunter Carlson now establishes a bit of a gap. And watch out further back. Matt Hayden is the man to watch. He's going to be the man on the move if he can get through the traffic. And let's look back at the 6. Here he goes for one spot. He wants the 5th position from Chris Weaver. He's already to the bottom of the 88. In turns 1 and 2. Almost some contact there. Got to get close quarters. Throw the elbows out here early in the going, and notably watch behind him. Trey Galgan has passed the 5 of Modesty. 3 wide for the first time at Martinsville. They're going to split 3 abreast, and around goes Chris Weaver, and he's going to pound the outside wall and bring the caution flag out for the 11th time tonight. And this was a result of the very rare Martinsville 3 wide that we don't see very often. We saw it right there, and I think this is going to start behind Trey Galgan. Everybody, we actually got through the 3 wide okay. And, man, Rusty Modesty, I guess, just felt like he had to throw it in on the top there. And right here you see Benfield actually is the one to get into Chris Weaver. And he's going to actually tap him again, which causes Weaver to go back across the racetrack and pancake the outside wall right here. Tail whips it with the left rear quarter of that car. And our 11th caution of the night is out for Chris Weaver in turn number 4. We'll take another look at it. Again, the very, very rare and not often used Martinsville 3 wide. And this was, I mean, a heck of a moment. Trey Galgan goes in on the bottom. He wants the spot, but Modesty had such a run down the backstretch that he had to take it somewhere. He goes up. near the darker part of the pavement, somewhere we had not seen anybody run all night. And they go 3 wide for the briefest of moments. And then here comes Stoney Benfield. And again, I think this is all because Chris Weaver had to check up. Galgan got him out of sorts in the middle of the corner. He had to lift out of it, and Benfield didn't quite get the memo in time. The 88 goes sideways and pancakes the outside wall, putting us under our 11th caution flag of the night.
Definitely don't see that one too often. 3 wide at Martinsville is a pretty tough spot to be in.
Chris Weaver flush with the left side. That was about as flush as you can get with the left side of that car. Luckily for him, he got it so flush that it didn't really damage the race car. So good news there for Chris Weaver is that he was able to drive away really without much noticeable damage to that race car. Now we'll have to see how it drives here on this restart. So
If you're going to want to hit the wall, I guess that's probably the best way to do it.
it sure did not look like it did a ton of damage to him. It certainly could have done a lot more. Very lucky that he did not get a ton more damage out of that. We are 10 laps short of halfway as Hunter Carlson, and this is kind of what I meant. If this race turned into a caution fest, if this race got to where, Matt Hayden can't make up spots, Trey Galgan can't make up spots, they're kind of buried, this was going to really pan out for Hunter Carlson. And as the laps start to tick away and we start to get closer and closer and closer to the end of this race, that decision is looking smarter and smarter for the driver of the two who needs the points night tonight. He needs, ideally, a victory and a Matt Hayden, some trouble to befall the number 6. But notably, again, he just needs to get to victory lane and everything else. Going to try to pan it out from there. Here he goes. He's going to lead this field back into the restart zone. The 11th caution is here and gone. We'll try this once again. Green flag is back in the air, but trouble further back. It's Jordan Anderson. Let's see if the flagman pulls the yellow flag back out. Not yet. Still green, and we're still green here in turn 2, and I think we're going to keep it green. Jordan Anderson has gotten it back going, and he's in 3 and 4, so everybody keeps it green as Jordan Anderson got turned in 3 and 4. Matt Hayden is using the outside line trying to get some spots, and he gets one right there from Elmore. Elmore goes around. He pounds the inside wall. The 31 is sideways, and another caution flag is out. Oh, man. Let's see what happens here. I believe he might have had some help. And again, rough night for the driver of the 49, Trey Galgan, who I believe is going to be the catalyst to this one as well. Elmore up off turn 4, and here comes Galgan trying to get around to his outside, grab his right rear, and gives him just enough of a boost there on the front stretch that Elmore goes sideways and pancakes the inside wall. Oh, man, hit that wall a ton. Rear tires off the ground for the 31. And Trey Galgan, nothing against him, but he's certainly not having the cleanest night for him so far, as he now gets into the back of the 31 of Brent Elmore and causes this one as well. This time it was a good move in theory. I see what he's doing. He's got the right rear, you could say. But Elmore starts to come up, tries to chop his nose off, and when he does, they get together. And the 31, man, that's a big hit on the inside wall. One of the bigger hits I've seen at Martinsville in a long time. And big damage on the front of the 31 as he got turned at the bumper of Trey Galgan.
It's just a tough place. It's a tough place to pass, tough place to be. It's hard to get around here, and especially once there's more cautions. Every time that there's a caution, it makes it a much higher chance that there's going to be another one.
Oh, man, Richard Sanchez, I didn't see that the first time, narrowly misses the 31 as he comes rolling back up into the groove. But everybody, no harm, no foul besides the 31 and the 49. And again, we will have another attempt at a race start where we are 5 laps from halfway. And again, we have yet to have that green flag pit stop. Now we're looking at about a 2-stop race, probably maybe 3 is kind of where we're at. But, man, this race is taking a while to get in. We are not on a torrid pace here tonight, but the 12th caution of the night is out here on lap 120, averaging a caution about every 10 laps. I said about every 20, but I was discounting it a little bit. It's been about every 10. And Hunter Carlson continuing to lead the way. Bo Benham, Alex Green benefiting nicely from these cautions. They're able to run up front here for a moment. As Matt Hayden, Rusty Modesty, and company try to get back to the front of the field. A couple more cars have called it a night, and in fact, wow, Trey Galgan's one of them. So, interesting scenario there as Trey Galgan came to pit road and has parked the race car here on lap 120. I don't want to say it's perhaps a black flag, but it might be the situation involved in 3 cautions, and he has parked it. He'll finish 14th tonight. Jordan Anderson as well, he's called it a night. He'll finish in the 13th position, so that leaves 12 cars on the speedway for the last 130 laps of this race. 129 to go to be precise, and the green flag is right back out again, and we're back racing at the Martinsville Speedway. Hunter Carlson is still your race leader as the field works its way through 1 and 2, and now begins to try to just put some green flag laps under our belts here.
Really interesting to see how this ends up playing out with how cautions fall and how guys end up pitting. I mean, we've seen multiple guys move up to the front, go back to the back, and I think it's going to come down to whoever kind of times them right.
So Carlson is kind of pulled away here. He's gotten a little bit of breathing room, but I don't think that's going to last very long. But we may have some more trouble at the back of the field. Chris Weaver, Cody Eldred, Isaiah Dupree, Stoney Benfield have had some trouble. But again, the green flag stays out. A very selective race control, shall we say. And again, that's not anybody in here. It's all iRacing controlled. So a very selective race director, if you will, up in the booth hitting the button. So the button does not get pressed. And man, that has split the field up in a big way. The top 6 cars are now ahead by 4 seconds. And don't look now if you're Hunter Carlson. I would not want to be the guy looking in the mirror right now, because here comes Matt Hayden. He's driven all the way back to the 2, and now he's going to try to make the pass here into turn number 1 for the lead. Here comes Matt Hayden, but he backs out of it. Wow, I thought he had the run to get to the bottom, but he stays patient, backs out of the throttle, and now we'll try to regroup and make the pass. But he's got to make it quickly because Rusty Modesty is closing in from 3rd. And now, lucky for them, the next car back that has this kind of lead the race speed is probably Stoney Benfield, who's now 6 seconds behind the leaders. Hayden runs up the track, crosses over, and tries to get back to the 2. If you're Hunter Carlson here, Christian, how hard are you defending Matt Hayden, knowing this might be what ends up being the pass for the win later on?
I definitely think that you try to make him go around on the outside. No matter what, I think you stay right against the curbing here. But at the same time, I don't think you want to fight him too hard. The 2's been out on on older tires for a little bit longer than the 6 here, and I think we're looking at maybe a long green flag stretch with how things have kind of played out. So I think his best bet: hold the bottom and try to just settle in at least in this gap here and keep things close, so that if we do get a late race caution, he's in a position to try to make something happen.
Well, he's going to have to make something happen quicker than he wants to, I think, because Rusty Modesty's on the way. He is here. He's a car length back of the 6, and now a traffic jam begins to form at the front of the field. Matt Hayden's going to have to find a way around if he wants to open up a little bit of a gap. And you see him. He moves to the outside and tries to drive it through the center of the corner, and now that paid dividends. Here he comes. He's going to take a look here into 1. Does he stick it? He does. Matt Hayden for the race lead side by side. He goes on by. New leader, the 6, again at Martinsville, and he will try to now set sail. Carlson, does he cross back over? Nope, going to ride in line here in 3 and 4 and allow Matt Hayden to start to drive away a car length already. The lead for the 6. Here comes the 5 of Modesty. He wants 2nd because he knows he's got to keep Matt Hayden in his sights if he wants to have a chance at the win. 132 laps on the board, 118 to go when we get back to the line. Again, a 2 pit stop race. If it goes green, there goes Modesty. That's for 2nd. He gets the spot, and on forward he goes. Now, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to mention the fastest car on the speedway right now is Stoney Benfield, who is running 0.3 faster than the leader. Now, again, no saving going on for the 75 right now. He just wants to make up the ground. But he is running about 0.3 faster than your leader, Matt Hayden, on the racetrack right now. He's made up a 1.5 seconds over the last 3 laps.
Yeah, the 75 car is having himself a great time trying to get through the field here. But I also really like what the 5 car is doing right now. I think he kind of found something when he was getting underneath of the 2 car and started to diamond the corner a little bit. And I think if he goes back into doing that, I think he might be able to run down the 6.
Well, Hayden pulls about 6/10 on Modesty there on the front stretch alone. Gets a nice drive off turn number 4. And now we'll try to start to set sail. That's going to be the goal here for the 6 car is just try to set sail. Try to establish a lead, and then you can relax, save your stuff, and hopefully by then you're able to start thinking about your strategy from here on out. He's put now a second on the rest of the field as he continues to pull away. Now the other question will be lap traffic, as he will come up on some lap traffic here momentarily in the next couple laps, or the next several laps, I guess a lot further away than I thought they were. But not too far in front of him here is lap traffic. You see them up ahead on the entrance of turn number 1. It's Chris Weaver. It'll be the first car caught by Matt Hayden. 114 laps to go at Martinsville. Do want to take a second while there's not a ton going on. Well, right as I say that, Stoney Benfield goes by Bo Benham for 5th, and Isaiah Dupree goes by for 6th. But while there's not a ton going on the Speedway right now, I do want to thank everybody again for coming out. Been a lot of fun. Glad you could join myself and Christian up here in the booth as we're bringing you the chaotic action from Martinsville. Again, a bumpy start to this one, but now we're starting to establish a little bit of a run. Again, only 13 cars left on the Speedway. Actually, 12 cars left on the Speedway at this point. So we're starting to establish a bit of a run, but did want to say hello to those using the chat. Devin Ray, good to see you tonight. Trevor Oswald down there as well in the chat. Good to see you guys. They're messing around down there. And Kip Cook, rooting for the faster pastor. Man, he's got work to do. But as we just detailed, Christian, the 75, he's still the fastest car on the Speedway. It's really not close either. Over a tenth faster than our leaders over the past several laps.
Yeah, Stoney has definitely found a great line to go around this track. He is always a threat whenever we come to any short track, but he has found something that the rest of the field has not found at all.
2.5 tenths faster than the leader. He's a tenth faster than Rusty Modesty, who is almost 2 tenths faster than our leader, Matt Hayden, last time by. Let's see this time. 20.05 for Matt Hayden, 20.06 for Rusty Modesty, 20.02. So the lap times even out a little bit there. Fastest car on the Speedway is the guy running 6th, Isaiah Dupree. So both guys very quick. They have some serious work to do if they want to get back to the race leaders. Probably will need strategy or another caution flag to benefit them on that part. Just over 100 laps to go, and I told you once this race started to get into a run, it was going to feel like it was going quickly. And only 2 pit stops. I mean, you want to think about it in those terms. About 2 pit stops left in this race. Only 2 chances for you to really gain any time in terms of strategy. We saw it happen at Richmond a couple times with the undercut. We saw it happen at Bristol a couple times with the undercut. We've seen it happen so many times this season. Darlington as well. So many different races where guys come to pit road 3, 5 laps early and end up undercutting the field. Martinsville, obviously, Christian, a little bit different than some of the tracks we go to in terms of, new tires are beneficial, but they're not going to give you a second on the leader. They're going to give you probably a few tenths. So, undercutting. What's your opinion here on what these guys should do, like Stoney Benfield, like an Isaiah Dupree, who are the fastest cars on the track, but have to make up about 5 seconds?
If you're Stoney or Isaiah, I think you definitely go for it. I don't think they have much to lose here, because Matt has just gotten out front and has been able to kind of put a good gap to them. But if you're Matt, I think you have to try to run this thing pretty much empty, because being in control of the race, having that time to give up, I would just be a shame. I mean, you go down pit road and you're going to look at like a lap or 2 going under, sorry, it looks like we have a caution there. But
and right as we were talking about strategy too.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you have a lap or 2 where you're a lap down, and I don't think that Matt could kind of risk that.
Chris Weaver loose off turn 2, almost identical to what he had happen on the last caution, and gets it slid to a stop there and right in front of the leaders. Man, that was really close to the leaders. Nonetheless, he gets it woed back down. We'll get another look at this one off turn 2, excuse me. And you see him get loose right here, and oh man, big overcorrect, and the weight shifts, and as soon as the weight shifts, the rear tires spin. You got no control over that race car. It is going sideways. Let's see if maybe does he have to back this up because he's coming up on Cody Eldred. Does he have to maybe back this up a little bit on exit? Let's see. The leaders were going to be here in very little time, by the way. Let's just see. He has to back it up on exit. Maybe a little. Doesn't feel like it should have been that extreme, though, and goes left. And as soon as it cocks back to the right, you're out of it. You got to lock it down. You just got to hope the car comes to a stop. And luckily for Weaver, it does. And he does not collect any of the leaders who were rushing from not far behind. So Chris Weaver was going to be the first car lap down. Now he's going to stay on the lead lap, but he unfortunately gets through a setback. And everybody's on pit road this time on lap 148.
A very scary sight if you're the 6th car, seeing that car sitting sideways in the middle of the track in front of you. But I also think it might have just been the 88 and seeing the 6th in his mirror. Yeah, you start seeing the leader come in and you start picking up a little, trying to push a little harder.
We are just outside of 100 laps to go as we get ready to go back under the green flag for another restart. That was the 13th caution night. Now we did get about 25 or so laps there under the green flag before we went to the caution flag. So now sitting just outside of 100 to go. All these guys have come to pit road. It leaves likely 1 pit stop left, maybe 2. It might be 2. I'm not. Again, we haven't hit a window yet, so I'm not sure exactly what we're looking at. But nonetheless, everybody came to pit road. It's at least 1 pit stop left, if not 2, as we get ready to go back under the green flag on what will be lap 152. It'll be 99 laps to go. So double digits now on the lap counter. And they are ticking off slow for Mr. Matt Hayden as he's hoping they take off a little bit faster. The later we get in this race, the closer he gets to victory lane, the more this is going to feel like an eternity for him. I'm sure you know the feeling watching those laps tick away at how slow it can get late in one of these races.
Oh yeah, when they start going a little slow, it feels like forever. You're just hoping that they get done. You're ready to try to get to the checkered flag, at least the white flag, and it feels like an eternity when you're out front.
So we will try to get into a green flag run, see what the pit strategy holds. You see Brent Elmore, he's tailing the lead lap. He'll come up in front of the leaders. Same with Chris Weaver. So a bit of an obstacle here to fight with for Matt Hayden, and this is kind of where that danger comes in of maybe something happens on the race start. Hayden's got to be careful, got to be patient here, and make sure he can get past these 2 cars. Here we go, 99 laps to go for Martinsville. Matt Hayden awaits the green flag, and there it is. Green flag is back in the gear. We're back racing for the Martinsville Speedway. Hayden, another good restart. He's to the outside of Elmore already, and now he'll work on Chris Weaver. Can he get to the inside of the 88 quickly here off 2? He's going to look, but again, he might be pretty patient here. No, not patient at all. Dives to the inside of the 88, rolls it up the speedway. Matt Hayden aggressive there in 3 and 4, makes it work, and goes on by, and now he's in clean air, and now he can set sail again. 98 laps remain in a potential massive, massive day for the season of Matt Hayden in the 6. Rusty Modesty, he is second now, working on the 88 of Chris Weaver, and he has got a line of cars in behind him trying to also go forward. Hunter Carlson, Jimmy Fitzmaurice, Stoney Benfield all in that line of cars. And Matt Hayden, we noted that he was the man on the mission. He's put a second on Rusty Modesty already with 95 laps to go and only potentially 1 pit stop remaining. Matt Hayden in a great spot. He's got a hungry Rusty Modesty in behind him, though, and he's gotten past the 88. Now he looks to come forward. But Stoney Benfield and Isaiah Dupree, that's the break they needed to get back into this race, and they're starting to make passes. Benfield is 5th, Dupree is 6th as they try to work their way back forward. But Hayden, he's put a second on the leaders already.
I like what Matt did there. Getting a couple lap cars right in between you and second place lets you get a little extra breathing room, and kind of keeps you out of the way, and just really helps you get that room that you need to run comfortably and confidently.
We're looking back here at Stoney Benfield. These cars are trapped behind Brent Elmore, sorry. They are trapped behind these cars, and Benfield and Dupree are just waiting on the window, trying to find the right gap to get to the inside of these 2 cars in front of them and continue their run back to the front of this field. They're not really losing a ton of time here on the leader, Matt Hayden. They just are going to need to make this pass here sooner rather than later. I believe Benfield might make one of them here in 1 and 2. He's going to dive to the inside, but has to back it up. Fitzmaurice on the top, the defensive line. Not going to work for him. Man, look at the drive through the center of the corner for Stoney Benfield. Man on a mission, 75-86. Are both up on the horse, trying to get back to the front. Benfield move him to 4th. Move Isaiah Dupree to 5th off turn 4 as we approach 92 laps to go. at Martinsville. Dupree and Fitzmaurice will battle for that 5th spot in 1 and 2, and Benfield will now set his sights on Hunter Carlson, and now he's got some clean air. Stoney Benfield, he can see the leaders in front of him. He wants to go take advantage. The 75 closing in on the 31, the 2. We will keep it right here because Benfield is there. The 75 is on the move in 1 and 2. So 86-33 behind them. They continue to battle for 5th. That battle now just over as the 86 goes on by. Now Benfield will work on Hunter Carlson. This is going to be a tough pass to make. Again, another guy that doesn't want to lose a ton of spots, but he ran too deep in the corner, and Benfield is able to get a decent run there. He's going to really put work on him here in 3 and 4 with a lap car ahead of them. Can he get off the corner better than the 2? We'll keep an eye on it. We'll go back up front for a moment because Rusty Modesty is again run down. Matt Hayden in the 6, and they will battle for the lead momentarily, perhaps. And as these guys start to spread out again, we'll go back here again to this battle for 3rd. It is Carlson in the 2. Elmore runs up to Speedway. Carlson goes to the inside. Benfield going to go along with him. So is Isaiah Dupree, and all 3 cars will get by him now. Carlson will have some clean track in front of him trying to defend this spot from the 75 of Benfield. And, man, that is a welcome sight for Hunter Carlson. So much easier to defend this pass in clean track.
Definitely is, but I don't know. The 75 car is real quick. I think I think it's a matter of laps before the 75 or the 86 kind of get up to the 2. Especially with the 86 chasing the 75, I think it puts the pressure on Stoney to try to make this pass quick.
Well, he's almost made it a couple times. I thought he was going to make it there. He's going to dive it into turn 3, man. That's one of the most aggressive dive bombs we've seen all day. It doesn't really work out for him, and he's still chasing the 2. Up front, the gap has stayed about the same. In fact, about another 8/10 between our 2 leaders, as Benfield is not really beating the back bumper off of Carlson because you can't do that in these cars, but he's doing the equivalent. He dives it in right there as well. I think he's trying to get Hunter Carlson, get the message, I'm faster than you and I want the spot, but Carlson is running the defensive 2nd line and not giving it up very easily. Inside of 90 laps to go now. In fact, make it 85 laps to go from Martinsville, and all of a sudden, this battle for 3rd has become the most heated battle on the Speedway as Modesty just cannot run down the 6. Oh, man. Carlson way out of the racing groove right there, and that's the mistake Benfield needed. Here's the battle for 3rd. Stoney Benfield to the inside of Hunter Carlson. He'll run him up the Speedway in 1 and 2, and Dupree will follow him on through. Now the question will be, can Stoney Benfield and Isaiah Dupree run down our 2 leaders? They finally made it back to 3rd and 4th, and now the chase is on with the 75 and the 86.
That was perfect timing for the 75 and 86. I mean, they have plenty of time to try to run down the top 2, and with what Stoney's been capable of tonight, actually, this even works better in this.
Oh, man, even better break for the 75 of Benfield, who now gets a timely caution, as it is a big one over here in turns 1 and 2. And we're going to back this up, see what happened here. This one's going to be Jimmy Fitzmaurice. Oh, man. He was sliding on entry there and gets in the back of Richard Sanchez. And when 2 cars go synchronized spinning like this, it's hard to miss. Let's see if maybe somebody gets into it. Alex Green makes it past. Oh, but Eldred and Green come together after the crash begins. And that was a weird incident. Those cars all blinked off the Speedway. That was really weird for a moment there, but Jimmy Fitzmaurice was sliding loose on entry here. Oh, Sanchez gets the wall. So Richard Sanchez got the wall. He's already... Oh, wow, he's in the brakes way early. Fitzmaurice had no idea he was going to be in the brakes and actually hits the brakes so hard himself that he goes sideways right in front of the 3 and the 4, who initially get through it, but unfortunately after they got through it, they're going to come together right here on the apron, on the curbing, and actually become involved in this crash. So that's a really tough break for those 2 cars who were, by all means, through the crash already. That ended up in it as a secondary incident. I mean, another incident of it where Fitzmaurice does not quite anticipate how hard Sanchez is going to be on the brakes. I mean, you could tell the speed difference in the one. That's the most visible speed difference we've seen all night in terms of the front car and the back car. And, you know, how fast you're getting into turn 1, how fast you're coming up on that car in front of you.
Yeah, that one reminds me a lot of Elmore earlier, where he kind of got in there a lot faster than Isaiah did, and just get on the brakes hard. Really gets the car sideways.
One more car has called it a night, and that is Jimmy Fitzmaurice in the 33. He'll finish 12th in tonight's race. Chris Weaver sits on pit road. He is already a lap down, going 2 laps down here this time by. He is in 11th position. Brent Elmore is already 1 lap down. He is 10th. And Alex Green is on the tail in the lead lap in 9th. So Martinsville continues to claim victims. And now, we'll go back and look. I believe, well, I thought perhaps the leaders had come to pit road, but they, for the most part, did not. Hunter Carlson did. Bo Benham did. Those are really the only 2 lead cars that came to pit road. So everybody else staying out. It must be a one-stop. It must have been the hinging point. It must be only a 1 pit stop race from here. I imagine we would have had everybody on pit road there. So a pit stop still remaining at some point here in the last 78 laps at Martinsville. We'll go back green with 77 to go next time around this speedway, as Brent Elmore will come to the inside. Alex Green will be in front, and it's the same situation for Matt Hayden. He's got 2 lap cars now lined up either in front or beside of him. He's got to make quick work of these guys if he wants to pull away, because now Stoney Benfield and Isaiah Dupree are right in the rearview mirror of Rusty Modesty in 3rd and 4th, so they are much closer to the front of the field. This is the break that they needed. Can they take advantage and make this a 4-car battle for the win? Man, Green and Elmore taking off. And now we're going to get a very early green flag. Back to green off turn 4. And, wow, that was the wonkiest restart of the night. But, nonetheless, they took off way early right there. And that is all the benefit of Matt Hayden, who gets contact from the 31. Almost disaster for Matt Hayden. But somehow he keeps the car straight. That was the panic moment he did not have on the last restart. And what it's done is it slowed down the 31 enough. Stoney Benfield is on the bumper of the 5. That's the battle for 2nd in 1 and 2.
Yeah, that restart, I think that restart really caught the 6 car off guard there. I think that might be the earliest restart we've probably seen all season.
It was earlier than one I remember. I wasn't ready for it either. Caught me off guard. And, man, the 31 is a pick now between the 6 and the 5. And it's a tough break because here, oh, trouble! Modesty's around. He gets to the back of Brent Elmore. And now the 2nd fastest car on the speedway has trouble and goes around in turn 1. And the 15th caution of the night is out. And, well, he's going to drive back by him. I was like, oh, we had to change for the lead in 3 and 4, but we did not. Hayden was slowing for the caution flag. And this was right behind our race leader, Matt Hayden, and right in front of Stoney Benfield and Isaiah Dupree. You saw it happen live as Elmore, I think this is kind of similar to what happened earlier. Oh, man, Modesty's wheel hopping. You can tell that car is bouncing, getting in the corner. He is sideways on entry. And that car just does not come down to speed. And he gets in the back of Brian Elmore, sends him sideways. And Elmore backs it into the outside wall. That, the toughest break of the night so far for one of the leaders, as Rusty Modesty was 2nd for a long time and was really one of the only cars that I thought had race-winning speed compared to Matt Hayden. He unfortunately gets caught in this one, as look at how much faster he is getting in the corner. And gets in the back of the 31 right there, and both of them go for a slide in turns 1 and 2. And, man, what a tough break for Rusty Modesty in the 5. But, again, it looked to me like that one wasn't even as much where Elmore was braking as much as it was, I think Modesty might have wheel hopped here. And as soon as he wheel hops, he locks the tires up getting into 1. And when he locked the tires up, it goes sideways, and not much he can do after that.
Yeah, I think you called that one perfectly. Just got in a little bit too hard and started to wheel hop on the brakes, and around they go. There's no way to get that thing stopped before you get to the middle of the corner there. And unfortunately, there was also a car there where he was going to run in the back of him, whether or not there was whether or not the 31 had a good entry or not.
Another twist and turn in strategy. Hunter Carlson again has flipped the track position. I mean, this is playing out almost perfectly. He pits under our last caution, gets a quick enough caution now that he can come to pit road and flip back the track position. He is once again the race leader with 72 laps to go. Cody Eldred, Bo Benham, Rusty Modesty all stay out as well. Under this, the 15th caution of the night in Martinsville. And for Hunter Carlson, I mean, a break that he needed, and now again you're in the same spot you were earlier. You've got the 6 car buried in traffic, the 5 car coming off an incident, the 75 buried in traffic, and the 86 even further back buried in traffic. So you've got now about a 2 to 3 car buffer between yourself and the rest of the leaders. And for Hunter Carlson, the opportunity now presents itself. You've got 70 laps to go. If this thing stays green, and he's hoping it is, if this thing stays green and you can get to that last pit stop and you can still be ahead of the 6, especially if he's caught in traffic, Hunter Carlson, that could very well be a race-winning strategy call if the race continues as it has right now.
Yeah, I like the call here. And I also really like the call because the 5 car stayed out. And it's the first time that Matt's really going to have to follow in behind the 5. And I'm not too sure. They were pretty even. It's going to be a tough pass for the 6 to get around the 5 back in traffic. So I like what the 2's done. I think that being out front here is good. And also just having the 5 car there to really race the 6.
Well, here we go. The 2 car leads the race, and he's really hoping now that we get to that last green flag pit stop. If we do, the race could be his. He's going already off 4 and gets a nice start. Chris Weaver, man, he's lost power in the 88. Something's wrong with Chris Weaver's car as he pulls to a stop on the inside of the racetrack. And I believe he may call it a night. He may jump to his pit stall. Still waiting on what's going on with the 88. No, he does get it back going. Just very slow on the restart now. This is a hornet's nest back here. Rusty Modesty, Stoney Benfield trying to go through on the bottom. Matt Hayden, Isaiah Dupree trying to go through on the top. Hayden, does he go a lane higher? Nope, stays in, is patient. Modesty is through. He's the first car through the lap traffic. Benfield going to try to be the second car through lap traffic as Benham holds tough on the outside of the speedway. Benfield runs up and keeps it out of the 64 and the 6. Modesty's through. Now Benfield will look for that spot. He'll look for the 4th position. He'll get it. Dupree looks for the spot, and all of a sudden, in the blink of an eye, Matt Hayden goes from 1st to 7th. Actually, it'll be 6th as Benham runs way up the speedway there in 3 and 4. So Hayden now from 1st to 6th has to regroup, shake off the dust, and try to go back to the front. He's behind the 8 ball. He runs up the track in 1 and 2. Matt Hayden, a mistake by the 6. He's going to lose even more spots here in 1 and 2 and a ton more track position. And now the 6 is really going to have to dig out of a hole. Oh, man, almost contact there between the 6 and the 3. They keep it together. And now you're looking at Matt Hayden. He is 7th on the speedway now behind Richard Sanchez, who is the 6th place car. We'll go back up front. Hunter Carlson continues to lead the race. But here come the guys looking to pounce on a mistake by Matt Hayden. And they are led by Stoney Benfield. Again, a guy looking for his first career win in this series. Has been up front so many times. Now an opportunity presents itself with 64 laps to go for him to go up there and grab one for himself. He's closing in on Cody Eldred. Got to be careful not to overdrive the car, but he's gaining on both of the leaders right now. He's running a good pace, about a 10th faster than your race leaders. Well, that time about a 10th faster than Eldred in even times with the 2 of Hunter Carlson. As he is close to within a second of the leader and 2/10 of Cody Eldred. Stoney Benfield, the man on the move, but Isaiah Dupree and Rusty Modesty trying to come through with a man. Look at that run through the corner by the 75. The man on the move, the fastest man on the racetrack is the driver of the 75 machine right now.
The 75 is in a really good spot. I mean, Matt being back out in traffic, I really think it's his race to lose. He is so good around here.
He now sets his sights on the race leader, Hunter Carlson. The 2 is about 8/10 in front of him. Eldred runs up the speedway. Big time loss of time there in 1 and 2 for Cody Eldred. And will lose 3rd position to Isaiah Dupree, who's presented himself as a 3rd player in this perhaps. Dupree has driven his way to 3rd. Modesty is closing on this battle. He's currently 5th. And Matt Hayden is right in behind the 5. He is 6th on the speedway right now. Benfield's closed it to 2 car lengths. 60 laps to go. It's crunch time at Martinsville. You might be thinking, oh, it's still 60 laps. That's a long time. They're running 22nd lap times around this speedway right now. It's not going to take very long to run the next 60 laps at this speedway. Last time by. And, well, right as I say that, it's another caution, and it's Rusty Modesty again. The 5 car, another incident here. Let's see what happened. Oh, he got on the curbs. I believe he might have gotten up on the curbs here. Let's see. Off turn 4. Yep, puts the left sides on the curbs and right in front of the 6. And the 5 car goes for a slide and bounces off the inside wall. We'll double check it again. I'm pretty sure he's up on the curbs right here when we catch him. Yep, there you go. You see the left front up on the curbing. And as soon as you get up on that curbing, that left front tire leaves the ground. And when it leaves the ground, there's no grip on that curb. When that tire gets up on top of that curb, you are along for the ride in this car as that left rear starts to spin. And a tough break there for Rusty Modesty, who was in a good spot, like you mentioned, in front of the 6 at that point in time. He was in a really great spot track position-wise, and unfortunately right there, gets up on the curbs, makes a mistake, and slides to a stop on the inside of turn number 4.
I think we have a pretty interesting call here with the 6 pitting. I thought he was in a pretty good spot, gaining a spot there with the 5 going around and kind of getting himself back in the ball game. I'm really interested to see what the fuel strategy is here. I wonder if maybe this is the spot where the 6 car can make it all the way to the end.
We're still not sure exactly what a fuel window is. We know it's somewhere around 50 laps. Now we have 56 to go at the line. So you're close. And, I mean, if we keep getting cautions at the rate we have, he might be right. He might be in the money spot position here for Matt Hayden. Now, he was not the first car off pit road. It was actually Cody Eldred who was the first car off pit road. But you might be in a spot now, if you're one of those cars 5th on back, that you can make it to the end on fuel mileage. So we'll have to wait and see. Still 55 to go at the line. It'll be 54 to go when we go back under the green flag. As Hunter Carlson, he continues to watch these laps tick down, and he continues to try to keep his hold on the lead and go to victory lane in a spot where he really could use the win. But the guy behind him, Stoney Benfield, is going to be the man on the mission. He's going to be the man that is the hungriest here because he wants that first win in this series. He's been searching for it for 2 seasons, and he now has a prime opportunity to get that victory. Matt Hayden, Rusty Modesty are trapped in traffic. We thought the 3rd fastest car on the track might have been Trey Galligan. He's out of the race. And now you put, again, a couple of those guys in traffic. You put Isaiah Dupree behind you. The 75, all of a sudden, a prime position. But he's going to have to fight off a hard-charging Hunter Carlson. It'll be 53 laps to go when we go back green, not 54. So it'll be 198 that we get back under the green flag. And now, 53 laps. That doesn't seem too out of the question for Matt Hayden to potentially make it on fuel. And if he can, the strategy call of the year for the 6 would be getting to victory lane tonight on fuel mileage. 1 to go from Martinsville. We're going to try it again. Again, down to crunch time. 53 laps remaining in this race from Martinsville. Again, so glad you've joined us. This one is going a bit long, so apologies for that. It's been a very long race for these guys as well. But nonetheless, we are going to try this one again, try to get another good restart. And Hunter Carlson is going to try to set sail and fight the charge here from Stoney Benfield. Elmore and Weaver on the inside. Carlson, Benfield, Dupree, Green stayed out. Everybody else came to pit road. And the strategy thoughts begin with 53 laps to go. Off turn 4, Hunter Carlson brings the field to the restart zone. Again, he should get an early jump. Oh, that time he waited a little bit, caught Stoney Benfield off guard, who rolled all the way to his back bumper and gets a nice little jump on the 75 into 1. But Benfield quickly makes work of Brent Elmore, and Dupree comes along with him. And now, oh boy, hold on for the ride if you're Hunter Carlson, because he has got a rear bumper full of Stoney Benfield and Isaiah Dupree, who have caught him here off turn 4. 52 laps to go. Can the faster pastor make the pass? The two going to run the defensive line down along the curbs, and Benfield and Dupree now must plot. How are they going to get back around him? How are they going to make this pass? Benfield defends second here from Dupree. And a 3-car battle for the lead works its way off turn number 4 as lap 200 goes on the board.
The 2 cars seeing exactly what he wants to see here, with the 86 putting some pressure to the 75 as he tries to find a spot around the 2. And I think it's going to give him just a little bit of a gap just to try to hit his marks.
So a car length between first and second, a half a car length or less between second and third, and a hornet's nest back around Alex Green and the rest of the leaders. Eldred through, Matt Hayden trying to come through, but they're 3 wide for a moment again, and they're going to be 3 wide again here off turn number 2. But Weaver's going to lift out. That was really good patience by everybody in that group to lift out of the gas, not get too overzealous, and cause an incident. Instead, they all get out of the gas and everybody gets through it. And now Matt Hayden's looking for the spot on Cody Eldred. The run to the front begins for Matt Hayden. He's to the inside of Eldred in the Sharpie. Chevrolet trouble. Around goes Brent Elmore in the 31. Does a caution flag come out? We're still green as of now. Still green, and everybody's back going. Green flag stays out as Matt Hayden gets to fourth, and the battle for the lead is on. 3 cars nose to tail, but Matt Hayden is coming. 2.9 seconds back to the 6. Carlson trying to hang on for the next 48 laps. We imagine, though, that he has to pit. We imagine that these top 3 all have to pit, and the first car that can make it is Matt Hayden in fourth. Again, we have to wait and see if this race gets close enough to the end. And, oh, man, Rusty Modesty, he's jumped right to his pit box. I believe his night is going to come to an end, and for one of the fastest cars on the racetrack, a very tough end to his night tonight. But he has jumped to his pit box. He sits on pit road. He's already going to go 1 lap down. Hayden has closed it to 2.4 seconds. Carlson, Benfield, Dupree all nose to tail. If you're Stoney Benfield, you gotta know he's coming. You can look back there, you can look down, you can see that gap closing up. You gotta know that the 6 car is coming and coming in a hurry. If you're the 75 or the 86, something has to give here. You have to go make a pass if you're going to continue to lose this much time.
Yeah, I really think that they between the 86 and the 75, they really have to attack the 2 car here. They definitely have had the pace. I mean, those 2 cars have been very fast tonight, and Matt is coming.
2 seconds flat, 1.9 at the line. He gained half a second. He's 4/10 faster than the leader, Hunter Carlson. Matt Hayden's running 19.5s here on potentially the last run of the race. His second fastest lap of the night comes here on lap 207 of 250, and it is a 19.5. That is a qualifying time here in race trim. You can tell what it means to Matt Hayden if he can get back to these guys up front. And now Carlson starts to leak away. He starts to drive away a little bit. He's put 2 car lengths between himself and the 75. As the 86 puts pressure on the back bumper of the 75, it may not matter. Matt Hayden is still closing in in a hurry. He's getting bigger in the mirror of the 75 and the 86. But the 2, all of a sudden, Hunter Carlson's found some speed. He's a 10th faster than Isaiah Dupree that last time by. He's driving away. And now, if he gets Matt Hayden stuck in this battle for second, Hunter Carlson, does the fuel gauge have the right number in it to get to victory lane? If not, these top 3 doomed without a caution. They're certainly not racing like they have to save any fuel, though.
No, I'm just in awe. I'm not certain with the 2 and the 75 and the 86. I mean, that maybe with all those cautions, maybe they might be right on their number, and it's going to be something. I mean, I think the 2 and the 6. I mean, I think this is why you see them right now at the top of the standings. We've gotten to the point where it's time to go, and you see that both of them are putting down some of their best laps of the race.
Carlson 19.81 last time. He's coming across this time 19.77. 19.81 for Benfield, 19.84 for Dupree, 19.74 for Hayden. He's 300ths faster than the leader, but that is not a huge chunk of time. That he is quicker than the 2 car in front of him. Lap car up ahead is Brent Elmore. That will be something that Carlson has to negotiate momentarily. And the gap is plateaued. Hayden got to about 1.5 seconds. He has not closed it anymore. Well, now he starts to again. Off turn number 2. The battle for second, by the way, is heated up a ton as Carlson just continues to kind of put a little bit of breathing room here between himself and the 75. Dupree is trying everything he can to make the pass on Benfield for second. But no dice so far for the 86. He's had to ride in line, and that has brought Matt Hayden into the party. 37 laps to go. They're going to go by in a heartbeat, and Hayden's there. Matt Hayden, welcome back to the party. The 6 car has reached the front, and he now has to go to work. He's got 3 cars to pass if he wants to get to victory lane tonight. Now, we do imagine that he's on his fuel number and that he's good to just push the pace. He doesn't have to save it all, is what we assume up here. But he's got a bit of work to do. Oh, he spins! Matt Hayden gets spun. He got up on the curbs. And a setback right as he got to the leaders. He gets a setback. Now, he doesn't lose a ton of time. He actually only, wow. You know what? Props. I thought he was going to drop. Oh, wow. Now he goes wide and turns 1 and 2. I thought he was going to drop about 9 seconds right there. He only dropped about 3 to the leader. So this one is not over by any means. The 6, the fastest car on the speedway. And as tires get older, he gets better. So He's got work to do, but now just put himself in an even bigger hole there last time by.
Yeah, I really would like to see him just kind of take a couple laps to settle down. You get sideways in one of those, and then you start to push even harder, trying to make up that little bit of time, and it makes it so much easier to make a mistake again and again.
Oh, Stoney Benfield and Dupree get together for second. Oh, no, now Benfield's into the outside wall. Oh, this is going to be an incident perhaps between the 75 and the 6. Everybody gets away okay. And, man, another tough break, an endless series of tough breaks. Now Hayden's loose again. He's sliding the rear tires out. Everybody up front making mistakes except for the guy who needs the mistake the least, and that's Hunter Carlson. Battles on for third position, but they're now 5 seconds behind the leader. And if you're Hunter Carlson, now you can take a deep breath. You've got 2.5 seconds back to the next car.
Yeah, they definitely made it a little bit easier on the two. The 6 was coming, the 75 was quick, the 86 was quick, and all in the mirror. Now that he's got that space, I think it makes it a little bit easier for him to just continue to do what he's doing.
Well, the question now on the top 3 cars is going to be the fuel mileage. Do they have the amount of fuel in the car to get there? Matt Hayden obviously still not in a bad spot by any means, because we know he's the best on fuel out of anybody in this lead 4. He is by far the best in terms of fuel number. So with 30 laps to go, now the question begins. Do Hunter Carlson, Isaiah Dupree, and Stoney Benfield have enough gas to make it to the end of this race? And, man, Matt Hayden, he's burnt his tires off. He's starting to run way slower laps. Actually, it was a tenth faster than the leader last time by, but he's starting to lose a little bit of time. Dupree is kind of plateaued with the leader. Ran about a half a tenth quicker there. Actually, no. Ran a tenth and a half slower that time by. A 20.13 Carlson, a 20.26 for Isaiah Dupree, and a 20.2 for Stoney Benfield. So Carlson all of a sudden now one of the fastest cars on the speedway with 28 to go. But does he have the fuel to get all the way home? That's going to be the question that's left for the driver of the two. Although a 2.2 second gap, is that enough to potentially roll the center of the corner a little bit more? Perhaps back up your exit a little bit more just to try to save a couple extra gallons of gas?
Yeah, I think this is a perfect situation for the two. I think that you could let off a little early, let it coast into the corner some, just use a little brake, and save a good chunk of fuel just between just going down, getting into these corners a lot easier than what he was having to do before.
26 laps to go as the battle for third continues to heat up. Benfield and Matt Hayden are trying to solve it amongst themselves, and now the two, besides Dupree, has started to pull away. He started to put a ton of time here on the rest of the field. He's running some of his best laps of the race right now on old tires with 25 to go. You see the tower tick over, and again now, if you're Hunter Carlson, you're just hoping you got the right number down there on the fuel gauge, and you're also hoping this lap traffic doesn't pose too many problems. He does have double file lap traffic in front of him. They do single it back out, but he will have to negotiate with the lap cars, and this is where it gets tough because lap traffic hasn't been a factor in this race all night long. This is the first time, potentially, that Hunter Carlson's going to see lap traffic tonight, and Dupree's only 2.3 seconds back. He can't afford to have struggles in lap traffic. We saw it on Sunday afternoon in the NASCAR Cup Series race, that late in the race, Denny Hamlin had a ton of struggle in late race lap traffic and allowed the rest of the field, including Kyle Larson, to reel him back in and eventually try to pass him for the win. So Carlson's got to make quick work and try not to get held up too much, although he put another 2/10 on Dupree that time by.
And this lap traffic, though, I think if he is close on fuel, this lap traffic is going to make it even harder for him to save some fuel as he has to get around them and keep that gap and some space there. But it's also going to make him have to run a little bit harder to try to make those passes and stay ahead of them.
First car not an issue, so no harm, no foul there with Venom. Now he'll get a little bit harder once he gets to cars that are on the lead lap. First of those is going to be Alex Green, who's 2 cars up from him right now. If he gets to the Alex Green machine, you'd imagine it'd be a little bit tougher battle to get past that car, considering he's tailing the lead lap and not already laps down. But man, another 2/10 that time by. Some of Carlson's best and most consistent lap times are being run right now, but the caveat, he's not the fastest car on the speedway. That's Matt Hayden, but Hayden's not gaining any kind of time that's going to get him back to the leader. He's still 6.5 seconds back, he is either a strategy call or a caution away from getting back into this race. He's gaining negligible time at that, about a tenth and a half right there with 19 laps to go. He did get by Stoney Benfield for third, so it's shaping up to be a really great night for Hayden. But we said coming into tonight that the man who needed to have the best night to keep his championship hope alive was Hunter Carlson, who led the points 2 weeks ago. He dropped the points lead. I believe he missed last week's race and dropped the points lead, and a win would vault him back into this points battle. It would put him right back in the thick of this championship fight. He's got to hold on for the next 17 circuits around Martinsville, and he'll get the job done. As now he actually plateaued with Dupree that time by about the even lap time, and is plateauing with everybody on the speedway. Hunter Carlson, he's crossing his fingers, but again, as I talked about earlier, the laps go by slower and slower and slower the closer you get to the end of this race, and now he's got lap cars piled up in front of him here, really one after the other on the bottom. This is where the stress starts to set in for Carlson, but you do have some time to work with here.
Yeah, for me, I think all that's going through his head is that he's hoping that these 2 lap cars will just move up the track and let him go on by. And he's probably every single corner looking down at that lap counter right now, trying to make sure that he's going to get to the end of this thing.
To the inside of Elmore. 2 seconds back to Dupree now. He's lost a half a tenth. But he gets past Elmore without much issue. Let's see if he can get all the way past him. He completes the pass. So now he'll put a pick between himself and Dupree. Matt Hayden is faded even further back. He's 7 seconds back. Bo Benham is pitting here. So that's interesting because I'm pretty sure he's on the same strategy as the 2 car. So we'll have to wait and see. And if that's the case, oh man, could this be falling into the lap of Matt Hayden? I'm pretty sure Bo Benham was on the same strategy as those guys. If that's the case, could this be falling right into Matt Hayden's lap?
I think that for sure Matt is definitely good to go on fuel here. If you're the 2, I think that as long you really have to try to stretch this thing. Don't get me wrong, a good finish is a good finish, and he would definitely get one as most of the cars are on the same strategy as him. But I really think that the win is something that he needs to get. And I also believe that it might be his first win over in the series, so I definitely think he's pretty hungry to try to get that done.
Well, it would be his first win. I actually forgot to mention that earlier. He has yet to win, although he had to be a little bit impatient with Alex Green right there, as Green gave him a little bit of a problem getting past him. Now Dupree is going to have to deal with those 2 cars. And with coming to 10 laps to go, if Dupree struggles at all with those 2 lap cars, this may be all she wrote here for the 2 car. 10 more times around Martinsville for Hunter Carlson in the 2. Matt Hayden nowhere to be found, 6.8 seconds behind the leaders. The only car you have to worry about if you're Hunter Carlson is the 2 car, or is the 86 car, and he has dropped 3, 4, 5 tenths now as a result of the lap car of Alex Green, and that might be all she wrote. 2 seconds between the 2 leaders. 9 laps to go at Martinsville. Dupree got past Alex Green, and now 1 lap car separate him from the race leader. But will he have enough time? 2 seconds in 9 laps, a tough task at Martinsville. So Carlson, rounds 3 and 4, he'll come off turn 4. They're going to tick off really quickly now. 8 laps to go. If we get inside of 5 laps to go and there's a caution flag, the race is official. So he's hoping to just get the next 3 laps in. If we can get through the next 3 laps, no matter what happens at that point, a caution flag would end tonight's race. And so here we go. He's got pretty clean track in front of him, too. This is a big benefit. Dupree around Elmore. So now Dupree's got clean track as well, and he's going to have to turn the burners on. Dupree is 2 seconds back, 7 laps to go. Can Dupree steal one away from Hunter Carlson? He's going to start to gain some time, but will it be enough? I don't think so. He's not really gaining anything. Not really anything substantial, at least, this time around. And only now 6 laps remain, and now Carlson's driving away. He can almost see that checkered flag and almost taste it with it getting in close to 5 laps to go. It's basically going to be an official race now that we get back to the start-finish line. Man, if this thing stays green, the strategy call of the season for Hunter Carlson, if he can survive the next 5 laps.
Yeah, that was a great call to stay out there and to pit when he did. I mean, 72 laps to go. I mean, you got to think that he's really stretching it on the gas, and to have the confidence to go in take that and feel like he could save this and make it to the end, that's a big move for the two.
4 laps to go now. He's got some lap traffic in front of him, but I don't think it's going to matter. He's only got 4 more times around, and he's put 3 seconds now on the Isaiah Dupree machine, so we actually might have a battle shaping up for third. Cody Eldred is starting to reel in Matt Hayden for that position. It's about a second and about 1.3 seconds separating those two, make it 1.2. As Hayden is starting to lose his grip on that spot, but now gets it back out to about a second and a half, so not going to be a whole lot for Cody Eldred to be able to do. For Matt Hayden, it's going to be the finish that he wanted tonight. Now, granted, he wanted to get to victory lane, but certainly the the third place will vault him back into the points lead, headed into next week, and we'll put him right back in the thick of this points battle. But the win for Hunter Carlson, man, what this is going to mean. Not only is it your first win, but it keeps your season alive and gives you at least one more fleeting chance. Oh, but, a caution flag comes out, and it's going to end the race. No green, white checkers here. And the caution is for Matt Hayden, who has, I believe, spun the car here in turns 1 and 2. We'll take a quick look at it because we want to go get the win. We'll just take one look at it here. He wheel hopped on entry, got too hot, slid it sideways, and then overcorrected. That's what brought out the final caution of the race. Off turn 4 for the final time. The strategy call of the year gets him back inside the points battle. Game on in the point standings. Hunter Carlson is an OP Throwback Series winner. He wins tonight in Martinsville.
That was an awesome call from the 2-car. You got to hand it to him. He really did a good job saving fuel, keeping the car out front, and holding off the 86 and 75, who were really fast all race long.
Cody Eldred steals third from Matt Hayden at the end of that run because Hayden went for a slide in turn 4, so Hayden will finish 4th instead of 3rd. And Carlson, for the first time this year, for the first time in his Throwback Series career, is going to get to do some burnouts here on the front stretch in Martinsville. And he has certainly earned these. The drive of his life at the end of this race, and he's burning it down on the front stretch. The 2-car finally in victory lane on Thursday nights.
He definitely had enough fuel to make it to the end if he had enough fuel to do these burnouts.
I was just going to say the same thing. Clearly, oh man, he's tail whipping the wall. Very, very ecstatic burnouts here. This is a well-deserved win, a well-earned win. A guy that held the points lead. He held the points lead Matt Kenseth style, Ryan Newman style, I should say. Ryan Newman, Matt Crafton style held the points lead without a win. He's got a win to add to his illustrious season, and he gets to celebrate it just a little bit here on the front stretch. We'll go through your finishing results, and then we'll get to talk to your top 3 in tonight's race in our post-race show. We'll start with the finishing results from Martinsville Speedway. Hunter Carlson wins the race. He's back in the points battle. Isaiah Dupree, just not quite enough to get back into this one. He finishes 2nd. Cody Eldred steals away 3rd at the end of the race. Matt Hayden, a good night for him. He'll vault back into the points lead. He'll be 4th in tonight's race. And Stoney Binfield, really great effort for him tonight as well. He finishes in 5th. Richard Sanchez recovers to finish 6th. Alex Green in 7th. Chris Weaver 8th. Brent Elmore 9th. And Bo Benham in 10th. Rusty Modesty, night fell apart. Had a good start to the evening. Was one of the fastest cars on track, but got caught up in some incidents late. He finishes 11th. Jimmy Fitzmaurice in 12th. Trey Galligan 13th. Jordan Anderson 14th. Davey Weaver in 15th. Gary Falco, the 16th and final car in tonight's event. We'll be right back. We're going to go grab your top 3, find them for some interviews. We'll be back here in just a moment and talk to your top 3 on the post-race show. Stay with us here on the Turn 3 Racing Network.
Really appreciate you having me here tonight, Dawson.
Moving to the post-race show now. Christian Schrader departs the booth as we are getting ready for our post-race show. We'll start with the man who finished in third position, stole it away kind of at the end there, but had a silently good night, and that is the 4 of Cody Eldred. Cody, it's Dawson in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you, buddy.
Well, third place finish for you tonight. Looked like you were going to finish fourth, but Matt Hayden slides there in 1 and 2 on the last couple laps. You slide by him and get all the way to third, a podium finish. Got to imagine it feels pretty good. Take me through your night here at Martinsville.
Nah, I'm very disappointed in Matt. I would have liked it to go green and pass him fair, but he was having trouble. He probably burned his tires up trying to catch up. I've had a roller coaster of a night. I'd get in the top 5, get knocked back, and then come back and get in the top 5, and then get knocked back there again. And it's just I had more patience than everybody else because there's a few drivers that just didn't want to finish the race. I understand that, but I'm glad I held through this one to get a top 3.
Well, absolutely, and some momentum for you now headed to the end of the season. I know the point standings have not gone your way the last several weeks, but nonetheless, it's been a good season for you. Top 5, top 6, top 7 in points, and this has got to give you some momentum. I got to imagine this gives you some confidence. What does this do for you going forward into the final 3 weeks of the season?
Honestly, next week we're at Talladega, so that's definitely a crapshoot. I do pretty good at super speedway races, but a bunch of these guys have way more experience at super speedway racing than I do. I haven't done much in this car, so it's always going to be different. Fuel strategy is definitely going to be something to look forward to in next week. I don't remember what the rest of the races are, but I think Homestead's in there. I don't do very well there, so I'm just trying to hang on, get a top 3 in standings, because I think the deficit is like a little bit over 100 points for me. But it's always fun racing with these guys, even though I get beat and banged around here in Martinsville. It's a hard track, and people aren't used to it.
Well, certainly a very tough track to master, but you get the job done tonight. You come home in third, so before we let you go and enjoy it a little bit, is there anybody you'd like to thank or shout out?
Yeah, I'd like to shout out Find a Way Outdoors. They make turkey calls and old school coins. They buy and sell coins. Fraternal Outdoors outdoor podcast, really fun guys to listen to. Narrowscape Motorsports, they sell safety equipment and timing and scoring for racing. Black Forest Racing on Instagram. They are a Porsche race shop. Icon Series, you guys at Turn 3 are great when you guys do this for us, and all the fans watching.
We appreciate you for sticking here and talking to us. Congratulations on a great effort tonight, a third place finish for you, and we will hopefully talk to you soon.
All right, thank you, man.
Cody Eldred in the 4, tonight's third place finisher. That'll move us to the man who finished in the second position tonight, the man who came up 1 spot short, but nonetheless had a really great run. That is Isaiah Dupree. A roller coaster for him in tonight's race. Hey, Isaiah, it's Dawson in the booth. You get a copy?
Yes, sir.
Well, you wanted to find a roller coaster night. That's what you had here tonight. I mean, we saw you get involved in a couple of wrecks, go from the back to the front, to the back to the front. Just time after time after time. You found yourself in a great spot. We're running down Hunter Carlson. Take us through that last run. What happened? Is there anything you could have done different?
Anything I could have done different? Yeah, I think if I didn't have the contact with Stoney, I think both of us definitely have a shot. The tournament like that. Aside from that, Hunter just drove a great race and saved the stuff and was there at the end. Yeah, definitely an up and down day, but I kind of expected that at Martinsville and just tried to hang on there.
Well, definitely an up and down day for you. One of the toughest tracks to master, but now, we kind of look forward in some very interesting track combos coming up. We got Talladega next week, you got Phoenix the week after that, and then Homestead to end out the season. So 4 very different types of tracks. Now going forward, we go from a short track to a super speedway. How does the preparation change? What goes into changing your mindset off of one of these short tracks?
I'll just kind of have the same mindset as I had before. Still just think I have to win races here if I want a shot at the championship, even with the drop week. So hoping I can go out and lead some laps, get some bonus points at Talladega, and keep up the momentum.
We look forward to seeing you starting next week at Talladega. Before we let you go, after a second place finish, is there anybody you'd like to thank or shout out?
Yeah, thank you for the broadcast again, and then thank Alex for hosting the league, and then Cody and them tonight. It was really fun on Discord. It's always great running with these guys.
Well, certainly very fun to watch. Congratulations on the second place finish. Go celebrate, go enjoy it, and we will talk to you soon.
All right, thank you.
Isaiah Dupree in the 86th, the man who finished the man who finished second, and now it's the man of the hour, the man who kept his season alive tonight, and Hunter Carlson is that man. We're actually getting an idea of where he's at here on points with a drop week, but he did keep his season alive tonight. We'll see real quickly before we go into this interview. I want to get an accurate number. He is 92 points behind our points leader, who, by the way, is still Christian Strader. So forget everything I said. With a drop week, Christian Strader is still your points leader, but boy, we got a points battle to talk about. We'll talk about that in just a moment. We'll go to the man of the hour first, Hunter Carlson. Hey, Hunter, it's Dawson the booth. You got a copy?
I got you.
Well, I feel like it's fair to say it's about time you got to victory lane in this series. We've been watching you work for a long time, and Christian was talking about it too. This was a long time coming for you to finally get one to go your way. I gotta ask, the strategy call with about 60 laps to go or so, I can't remember off the top of my head, that last run to the end, we knew you were close on fuel. What went into that strategy call there at the end of the race?
Actually, I tried to take a page out of I think it was Chris's book a couple weeks ago, and figured, well, I might as well try it, see what happens. Maybe I'll get a top 3 or 4 out of it. I didn't think I'd come out with the win, but things just ended up coming my way for once. But that was fun.
Well, it was a lot of fun to watch, certainly. And I got to ask, look, I said before the night started, that we knew the points with the drop weeks were coming. We knew we were going to see those standings. Now they've come out, and tonight's win essentially, I won't say saves your season per se, but it certainly puts you right back in the conversation for the championship. You got a win under your belt now. What's the mindset for the last 3 weeks? You got some points to make up. What's the game plan?
Really, I just try to stay consistent like I have been all season and try to snag a win or two. And because at Dega, you never know what will happen, and you gotta try to go from there and see where things go. See where things are going into Homestead.
Well, absolutely, and we look forward to seeing this points battle over the next few weeks unfold. But tonight, it's your night. For the first time here on Thursdays, you're in victory lane. We saw the burnouts. You got to be excited. So before we let you go and celebrate, is there anybody you'd like to thank or shout out?
Yeah, I want to shout out Christian. It was pretty cool having my teammate in the booth winning this thing, and Alex, Isaiah, Cody, them all in the Discord call tonight. It was a lot of fun with them, a lot of laughs, a lot of cussing, but in the end, it was a lot of fun. I'm happy I finally broke the ice with this win, to see if we can do this more often.
Well, we certainly look forward to seeing it. You're in victory lane tonight. Congratulations on the huge win, getting yourself back in the conversation for the championship. Go enjoy it. Go celebrate, and we will talk to you soon.
Thank you, Dawson.
Hunter Carlson, the winner tonight from Martinsville Speedway. And ladies and gentlemen, we got a points battle on our hands. Really quickly before we get off the air, I'm about to run over and try to do another race here. But before we go, I did want to give you an idea of the point standings. Christian Strader now leads the points by 46 points over Matt Hayden, who got a good run tonight to kind of keep himself in contention. Isaiah Dupree is third. He is 58 points behind Christian Strader, and Hunter Carlson is fourth. He is 92 points behind Christian Strader. We got 4 guys within 100 points of each other with 3 races to go. And oh, by the way, one of those races is Talladega Super Speedway. So a lot still to come. A lot of fun here to be had the rest of the season as we crown our second OP Racing Throwback Series champion. Hunter Carlson wins tonight in Martinsville and keeps his season alive and well for now. About to head over to PGR Esports on YouTube. Boot up the stream really quickly because that race is already underway. Trying to catch it in the beginning stages. Remember, no broadcast the next 2 weeks. Unfortunately, my schedule gets very hectic the next 14 days. So, unfortunately, I will be without broadcasting in the next 2 weeks. But we'll see you in 3 weeks' time for Championship Night Part 2 in the OP Racing Throwback Series at Homestead Miami Speedway to see what becomes of this points battle. A lot of fun coming up here on the Turn 3 Racing Network. Thank you so much for coming out. Thank you so much for joining me. My name is Dawson Wise. You've been watching the Turn 3 Racing Network. We hope to see you